Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, along with G. Bush, Tyvis Powell. I'm Adam the Bull.
I'm the barbershop today.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we've got Mike, Anthony, and Steve on the other side of the glass. It's the holiest day in the Jewish year. It's Yom Kippur. Mike, I know you're locked in today.
Say it again.
Yom Kippur. It is the Day of Atonement.
Yom
I am very locked in right now.
Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur.
Y-O-M space K-I-P-P-U-R.
Okay.
Yom Kippur.
I like that.
You have Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year.
What, say again?
Rosh Hashanah, which was like 8 days ago, whatever it is, and now it's Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement.
So,
it's a day. It's like Yom Kippur is the Catholic version, is the Jewish version of going to confession as a Catholic.
Okay,
so
it's basically the same.
As the official black correspondent.
Yeah. Okay.
For the Jewish community, because I do live in a Jewish community. You do. They were all walking last week, all black.
Well, you live, I think, in either a Hasidic or an Orthodox community.
I live in.
Or do the people have curls? From
they
here?
got with the things.
Is it yarmulke or is it like a big black hat?
There's both.
Okay, so if they have a yarmulke, which is for those who know, it's like the little beanie, some people call it. Yeah. Those people, if they're walking around with a yarmulke regularly, they're probably Orthodox.
Okay.
If they're wearing the big black hat and they have the big black coat and they have the curls coming down, those people are in a sect of Judaism called Hasidic. They're even more religious. They're like the Amish of Jews.
So in my neighborhood, this is the high stakes version of Jewish people. So that means like they really high stakes. This the big rollers table.
Gee, out of curiosity, is there any more African Americans in this community?
Actually, yes. There's another guy who lives straight 2 streets down from me. Right. He goes.
They signal each other.
I promise you. I promise you, when I moved to my new spot and I see my next door neighbor was black, I said, yeah.
He almost got us in trouble though. Yeah. So my next door neighbor is a brother, a young dude, right? Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. But then. So needless to say, I was driving down the street, an Audi, just zooming down the street. Yeah. And you know, I'm old now. I'm like, what's going on? You can't be zooming down.
There's kids in this neighborhood.
It's kids. I got to go talk to him over there. Yeah. He comes back. He hits the stop sign and goes, rolls down this window. I said, oh, heck no.
It's him?
I was thinking I was getting away with this. I said I was leaving this type of behavior. He rolls down the window and says, J-Bush! Turns out it was my guy Chuck Terry from Bedford. He went to OU with me, same class.
Shout out
to He lives in your neighborhood?
He lives 2 streets down from me.
Funny. Shout out to Bedford, man.
And he's like, he used to be so wild we called him Animal from Muppet Babies. So he was but next door, really quickly, the next door neighbor I got, he's black dude. He got us in trouble because, you know, all of the high stakes roller Jewish people, they be walking all the time because they don't believe in cars on like the weekends and stuff.
So it's not the weekends, it's the high holy days, and it's on Friday night sundown to Saturday night sundown. You're not supposed to. You know how the Amish, they don't use electronics, they don't use it. So basically when you're ultra-Orthodox or Hasidic, you follow those type of rules, those same type of rules, but just from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown.
That's like 7-day event.
That's the Sabbath.
Yeah,
imagine their terror. I'm doing my nightly walk with my wife. Yeah. They're in front of us walking. They got the kids out walking, everybody thinking like they're going to church or something. All of a sudden, next door to me, the black dude, he's big into Halloween. He done stepped his game up. He got fake bodies on a lawn. He got somebody tied to a tree in a plastic bag, and they walking by like this. I'm over there like the big hat guys is conglomerating around like look at this abomination in the front yard. So I'm behind them. I had to tell them as we was getting closer because our yards is kind of connected.
Yeah.
I said, hey, me and the Asian small wife. That ain't our house. Our joint is right here. We only do Christmas. See, we got Christmas stuff every. I know y'all. Listen, we believe it. We more of a Jesus type thing. I know we don't have the goblins.
That's not us. We're not doing the mass murder on our lawn.
We're not doing that. That's not us. McNuggets.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, we got a jam-packed show. Guardians game reaction. Guardians preview. Woo. Browns galore. 2 guests. And let's dive.
Also later, I got to read a text I got from Mike Polk, which is maybe the funniest text I've ever gotten in my life.
Perfect. That's a great teaser for later in the show. We'll get to that and more, starting with a quick word from FanDuel. Guys, the NFL season is here. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer right now. New customers can bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So if you're ready to play, download the Fantasy app right now by visiting FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS to place your first $5 bet. And shout out to Daniel Caruso for sending us in a winning bet yesterday. Daniel turned $10 into just under $400.
That's 2 days in a row for Daniel.
Winning ticket from Daniel. He's on a heater right now, so shout out to Daniel Caruso. If you guys have winning FanDuel tickets, make sure you send it in here. But Daniel won $396.38 off a $10 bet on a multi-part same-game
What did he
parlay.
win yesterday, Mike?
I don't remember which one was Daniel specifically.
It was him. I'm never going to forget his...
He was definitely in.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure which one of the tickets was his.
I got you.
So... He won.
Because it sounds exactly like Daniel LaRusso from Karate Kid. The name's just sticking in my head.
So if you have winning tickets, send them in our way.
Yeah.
Bull.
Yeah.
We got a Game 3 today. A winner-take-all Game 3. We're going to preview the game in a little bit, but we got to talk about the 8th-inning heroics from the Guardians yesterday. It started with the Brayan Rocchio home run on an 0-2 pitch, 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Yeah. Then the back-to-back doubles. Then the Bo Naylor 3-run homer. Then we had the whole incident in the 9th inning with Smith. So
we'll get into all of
it.
I will say, just for those who may not know, today's game is at 3:08 and not 1:08. I know a lot of our fans are disappointed because, unlike us, they work like normal 9-to-5 jobs, and it stinks when if you can't watch the game or you're at work. But at least it's a little later today at 3:08 instead of 1:08. All right, that being said, very exciting game yesterday.
Yeah.
As you know, I was very excited about yesterday's lineup.
Paid dividends.
It did in that 8th. And, Valera hits the home run in the first inning. By the way, I didn't see it till later because I didn't get, we left here at like 1:08 and the game started at 1:08. So the first inning, I'm listening on the radio. I'm not able to watch it. And I went back in later and watched it. Manzardo's ball in the first inning, if you were watching it or if you were at the game, that was going to, on most days, that would have been an easy home run.
It went to the back.
He crushed that, but the wind was howling in from right field. I don't know how Valera hit it. They had 3 home runs on a day where the wind calmed down a little later in the game.
You could see the back of the pitcher's jersey flapping.
It was crazy.
I thought Manzardo's was gone because whoever their center fielder was took off.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's gone, and then it fell short.
It just died in the wind. The wind. I mean, that must have been 50-mile-an-hour gusts or something coming in from right. But anyway, after that home run by Valera, the offense disappeared until the 8th inning, and in that 8th inning, that was everything you imagined. We just said the other day, I need other guys to hit home runs. We need some power. Yep. What'd you have in that inning? Homer, double, homer. I have 4 extra base hits. None, not by Ramirez, not by Manzardo. Even Quan was one of the 4 he had a double, but he's not a power hitter.
Right.
And it was like Schneemann a double and Rocchio the homer and Naylor the homer. That they can put together some more innings like that, they can play with anybody.
Yeah. That was it, Tyvis, because we talked about timely hitting. I said, they need some, because I was watching the bullpen, and he was like, we was just talking about it today on UCSS. They need some timely hitting, but not just regular. We need timely power.
Yep.
And they get it from Rocchio. Like, to think about it, like, he's hit 5 home runs this year, right?
Yeah.
He's hit a couple, right, in the last few days. Like so when you talk about playoff Rocchio, I don't know what's wrong with this man. They bring him back in, they bring him for the minors, they bring him back up. They move him to second base.
Yeah.
He actually transitioned that pretty well.
Yeah.
So you get the home run from him. You get Bo Naylor, who comes up and hits the ball. And it was crazy because I thought Bo Naylor might have got under it a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't think he hit it.
I didn't think it was a home run off the bat.
I said, nah, this is warning track power. And that thing just kept carrying. And when you get, that's the thing. When you have guys at the bottom of your order that can have some sneaky power to give you something, that just makes everything better. Because remember before, in certain lineups we put out, after you get to the fourth, fifth batter in the lineup, you ain't got nothing. Them is complete outs.
Yeah.
But
Ty, before you go, well, I'm just curious because Steve, take this graphic here full. Rocchio is now 12 games into the playoffs for his career.
Playoff Rocchio.
This is his
amazing.
playoff stats. An OPS just shy of 900, which is almost 250 points higher than his career regular season OPS.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. I'm just curious. It's a small sample size.
Yeah.
12 games is not a huge playoff experience. But, I mean, some guys just kind of lock in later.
Yeah, I mean,
is there any explanation, you think, to why Rocchio has been so much more effective at the plate in these playoff high-leverage situations?
I don't have a great answer or an obvious answer. I will say that I think Rocchio's a guy that other teams look at, and like a pitcher, you're not afraid of Brayan Rocchio. Like you in your mind, he's a bottom of the lineup hitter. He doesn't really have much power. I think sometimes you're so locked in the playoffs. You see these games. This is what's great about baseball. Criticize baseball all you want. I know not everybody's a diehard baseball fan, but there is nothing like playoff baseball.
Oh, we are in the playoffs.
Every moment is intense. Right, like the first half of an NBA playoff game, like who cares? Like every minute of a baseball game in the playoffs could change that game, could make a difference, could be the reason you win or lose.
That's true.
And it is so much tension in these games. And if you're a pitcher and you're like focused on the team's better hitters, and then you get to the 8th guy in the lineup, maybe you lose your focus a little bit. Could be something like Jose Ramirez. You look at his career numbers in the playoffs; they're not good. Early in his career, he had a little more success. Even last year, he in one of the series, he I think was it the Tiger series? The Yankee series. He played well in the Yankee series, but overall in recent years, he hasn't been good in the playoffs. Now he's got to be better. There's no excuse. But if you're in the they already are careful with Jose Ramirez in the regular season.
Oh yeah.
But in the playoffs, every team's like, we cannot let Jose Ramirez beat us. He's their best hitter, so he doesn't get a lot of good pitches to hit. And sometimes in the playoffs, maybe you get a little aggressive because I'm important to this team. If anybody says Jose gets tight in the playoffs, I don't believe that for a second. That guy is never tight. He is always loose. He's always ready to go. He hasn't played well enough, but it's not because he gets tight in the playoffs. I don't believe that for a minute. I just think he has had some bad luck. And pitchers are so focused on not letting him beat them. That's a big thing. But, Rocchio's been amazing in 2 years in the playoffs.
No, the playoff Rocchio thing is alive and well. What I like about yesterday is when you look at this Guardians team, it's really a bunch of guys who we've heard a lot about.
Yeah.
But like me and G. Bush would be like, you telling us about Valeria, you telling us about Rocchio, what's going? We telling us about Chase Dillard. It's nice to see those guys actually come in and show like, okay, this is why they kept talking about you and Jason and Jay.
Right.
Y'all always be talking about these guys, and me and G be sitting there like, we ain't never gonna see them. So it's nice to see these guys come up here and have that impact. Like Chase Dillard, forget what he did at the plate. I mean, obviously he was down 0-2 and then he walked, which was great by him. Yeah. But the play of the day was the throwing the guy out at third. Yes. That changed everything because that's a 2-1 game. And as you just said, we take this thing by pitch. Yep. So 100%. If they go up 2-1, honestly, I'm watching it. I'm like, that's game.
That's game.
Dude, I got to tell you,
that was crazy.
I'm glad you brought that up because to me, I will never know, thankfully. I think they lose that game if he doesn't make that play. There's a decent chance they lose that game because
they had a lot of momentum after that.
Well, first of all, not only would it have been 2-1, but they'd still have run. They're one hit away from getting 4-1.
And then you might as well turn the lights out.
Yeah. And watching the game, as I'm sure you guys all were, I didn't think they were going to overturn the call.
I didn't either.
I
thought it was close.
I thought he was out, but none of the replays they showed, you could tell for sure that he was out.
He went
none of them.
It's because he didn't tag with the right hand. He did it with the left.
Yeah.
And that bought
I'm just
him
shocked it was overturned.
Whatever
the call on the field was, I would have bet my life.
Right, that it would have stayed.
Yeah.
You know how they occasionally during that time they were showing like the headquarters in, I think it's in New Jersey, with all those video monitors. They must have some angles that we don't.
It's always Secaucus. It don't matter. If it's MLB, basketball.
The NBA's in Secaucus.
No,
Secaucus.
No, everything's Secaucus.
Yeah, it's all Secaucus.
It's all Secaucus. They got
a fun name to say.
It's down the hall. Major League Baseball is in Wing 2. Suite 3 is basketball.
I worked briefly in Secaucus too, so there you go.
It's in Secaucus. You're right, G.
But when they overturned that, as soon as they overturned that, I said, holy cow, the run's not going to count. Because I was pretty sure Dingler had not hit the plate before that, and that was the case. So you go for a moment, you're down 2.
Nope, we're wrong.
What?
MLB content is in Secaucus. The replay center's in New York City.
Man, Mikey got his fine tooth comb out and scraped over that kind. Hell
is
no,
it at the South Street Seaport? Does it say?
It just says in New York City. I'll find the exact.
I've worked there too. I've worked at the MLB offices at South Street.
Hey, you know what this is?
In Elmwood Park.
That's in Queens.
This is the sound of Mikey McNuggets stripping my medals. There you go.
I do like Mikey McNubbles, though.
Yeah, McNubbles?
That might be a good.
That's his cousin.
I don't know what a nubble is, and I don't know how to put that on a graphic. So we're sticking with the nugget.
Hey, what's up, McNubbles?
That instead of 2-1, it would have been 2-1. It would have been second, third, one out. Plus, Bieber maybe comes out. Not Bieber. Bybee maybe comes out of that. Out of the game there.
I like
one more hit, it could be a 4-1 game.
I like the way he pitched yesterday.
He did, and he got out of trouble. And that was the theme of the game.
He got out of trouble.
That was the theme of this game, is that the Tigers had base runners, it seemed like every inning, and every time, except for the one run they scored, the Guardians got out of it.
It was solid.
He wasn't at his best, but he was solid. I thought they pulled Mize too early.
I wonder why they did
what
that.
What were they doing?
Yeah,
he was cooking.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something else.
He had, 3 hits?
The Tigers did in my opinion, one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. When they pinch hit for Riley Green in what was it, the 6th inning or the 7th?
It was the 7th. I could not believe.
They said he was
Could not believe
Riley
they took
Green.
him out.
Dude,
sick.
The guy's your best hitter.
That's crazy.
I know he's not as good against lefties. I understand Jahmai Jones has had some success against lefties. Jahmai Jones is a journeyman. Riley Green is a young superstar. You can't. He wasn't facing Scooble. You can't pitch it. And then that spot came up again in the 9th.
It was Tim Herron.
Right. That was insane. I was like, oh my God, they just did the Guardians a huge favor.
Listen, he was up there delivering. I mean, he was like, when did everybody start throwing 101? When did I wake up and even your third or fourth starters are just? I mean, that's why when
guys throw harder in the playoffs because they know it's at the end of the season.
I'm like, why are they taking him out? We can't sniff him right now. This is a 1-1 game going into
Mize was pitching great. He got in trouble. He obviously gave up the home run, almost gave up another in the first inning. But then he was cruising after that.
Man,
they're so anxious to get these guys get to the bullpen that they overdo it. Now that's a big story heading into Game 3 for the Guardians.
There you go, break that down.
Cade Smith situation.
Woo, because he is not playing. I don't think he's playing.
So Cade Smith had thrown 21 or 23 pitches on Tuesday. Last night, unfortunately, it was, what are you going to do? I don't blame him. In the 8th inning with 2 outs, Junis pitching, they bring in Cade Smith in the 8th inning to get the final out. Now, the Guardians obviously score the 5 runs in the top of the 9th, or in the bottom of the 8th. If they had not brought in Cade Smith in the 8th, then you wouldn't have started him in the 9th.
Right.
You would have started Festa or Allard, whatever. And then if you got in trouble, you would have gone into Cade Smith. But maybe you could have gotten away without using him. Once you've put him in, now it's 6-1. The manager's in a tough spot. Because you're like, okay, he threw 20 pitches yesterday. He's thrown I don't think he threw much in the 8th. It was 4 or 5 pitches. He's like, it'd be great to get him out of here. Then he's pretty fresh for tomorrow. But they didn't have any good relievers left. Like Festa and Allard are guys you really don't want to use in the playoffs unless you have to. Now, Steve Becker was losing his mind on text saying, you got to take him out, you got to take him out, you got to get fired. it's easy to say that when you're not the manager. I'm telling you, I said this on text. Steve disagreed with me. He's wrong. Okay? No manager in baseball would have taken Cade Smith out in that game. You can't worry about tomorrow when the season could end today.
It's an elimination game.
That's just it.
And then think about what people would have said. Think about what people would have said if they bring these two down the liners in, and it's like,
and they took him over the
fence.
And
now that's a drive to deep right field, and this is a brand new ball game, folks.
Oh yeah,
people would have been out with pitchforks.
They would have lost their mind. If the Guardians would have lost that game because he pulled Cade Smith, you would have lost your mind. Now he's thrown 50 pitches the last 2 days. That's a lot. I was saying on my post game yesterday, I don't think he's going to pitch today. I had Zach Meisel and I did a Guardian show at 7:30 last night. He said that Vogt said that he is available today. Now, even if he's not available, Vogt's not going to admit that. Why would you? Right. You don't want to let the other team know
he's ready to go.
But the thing is, even if he does pitch today, I don't know how effective he can be. He wasn't at his best yesterday, and he's thrown 50 pitches in 2 days. That's a lot.
Did you think he was at his best in Game 1 either? Because I thought he was a little wild.
No, I thought he was okay in Game 1. I thought he was serviceable in Game 2. He didn't have the big velocity drop that we saw last year, but I think we might see that if it happens today. So hopefully they don't need him. You need a nice blowout today, which the Guardians don't do very often.
So it's kind of wild to think about it.
Yeah.
What if they still had Class A? They could have. We could have been. We would have played bullpen games with them.
They extended his time.
They're still suspended indefinitely, both those guys.
Okay, they extended it to win.
Yeah, indefinitely.
So it's no timeline
until it gets settled.
Hey, what if is it a possibility if they come back and be like, you know what, we didn't find anything, you're able to play? Would the Guardians play him?
They ain't pitched.
They haven't pitched in a while. I don't think they could. I mean, in theory, if it happened today, maybe you could get. If you're suspended, I don't think you can pitch in the playoffs. But I think that's only if you're suspended for PEDs. So I think he could, in theory, if they said we made a mistake, you're, exonerated. In theory, he could pitch. Yes.
Now, if they've been keeping they've told him, hey, listen, guys, stay ready. This new Guardians, and I'm getting somewhere. Don't worry. This new Guardian, I just had this thing in my mind where Dolan is sitting at this big boardroom and saying, hey, you know what? I've seen the errors of my ways.
Yeah.
We now have to go all in on these young guys. We got to pull all the triggers. Maybe he's sitting there saying, I'm not going to be the owner for very long. It's in the works. But while I'm here, because it does not make any sense, Bull. There is no way, if you would have told anybody that this lineup looks the way that it looks, that you now have.
Now, a lot of it's potential and not proven, but it's exciting.
We were talking about them pulling teeth to bring one of them up.
Yeah.
So you got Valera, you got Kafis, you've already, all of these dudes is up here.
Yeah.
For what? It don't make no sense.
And now DeLauder did make an error in the first inning, but it didn't hurt him, and they obviously made up for it with a great play later.
We cool with it.
By the way, they were showing his dad in the crowd, and I know his dad had sunglasses, so it was a little hard to tell. But his dad looked like he was 25 in the stands. He obviously is not because he's his dad, but he looked very young to me. But anyway, Kafis actually made a nice play on that line drive to end the game at first base. And he's a natural first baseman, unlike John Kenzie. But he's been solid since he's come up, and I love it, man. They got some ball players. I mean, you look at Chase DeLauder; he looks like a ball player. The Guardians have had so many mini mites in the field, and now Kafis, solid looking dude. Manzardo, big dude. Valera's a big dude, and DeLauder's he's.
Do you think they'll continue? Do you think they'll continue if they are able to pull this out? Do you think that this lineup will continue to be in there?
It better. I think they should have the exact same. Has the lineup come out yet, Mike?
Not yet, and it probably won't come out as early as it did the last 2 days because it's a
3, not
game.
at 1.
Yeah.
I would have the exact same lineup today. There's no reason to
It's Flaherty pitching for Detroit, correct?
Yeah.
What's that?
Flaherty's pitching for Detroit.
And the good news is, if you win, you play Seattle. All of Seattle's starters are righties. Because the Guardians, and by the way, John Kenzie Noel needs to be off the roster.
Yeah.
And John Kenzie and Jonathan Rodriguez cannot start. I'm starting this lineup.
Sorry, Tyvis.
I'm starting this lineup against lefties and righties, to me, for the rest of the playoffs. Because you know why? You're not facing a better lefty than Skubal. Okay? No, if you, I guess the only lefties you might have to face in the playoffs if they went deep enough in the American League. I can't go to the National League because there's still a lot of teams there. Like you could face Fried with the Yankees, and the Yankees have another lefty.
Rodon.
Yeah, so like it'll be. Hopefully, they don't play the Yankees.
Is Crochet a lefty?
And Crochet's a lefty too. Yeah. But I don't care. I'm using this lineup lefty-righty. I don't care.
So he had one bad game.
He stinks. What one bad game? He's been terrible the whole year. He can't play the field. He can't hit.
Tyvis, your man is up there batting like he's in sandals. Open-toed Swiss sandals. Do you know how it looks like?
He got the thong in the middle of
it. He don't even got the Nazareth sandals.
I'll never forget, man. This is what it was like. We had... this just reminded me. I don't know. I hadn't thought about this in years. So I worked at a day camp when I was a kid. I went to camp as a kid, like a day camp, and then when I was old enough, I became a counselor at this camp, right? And it was a Jewish camp in Queens. And one year we had this guy who came over from Africa. He was a Jewish guy from Africa, and we would be playing baseball, and he'd be basically wearing sandals.
I told you.
And that's John Kenzie Noel.
But, bro,
yes.
You out there playing in chunklines. You out there in sandals, bro. Like, you ain't got no support. Your ankles is out. Your ankles is twisting over. And that's how he looks when the breaking pitches come, Tyvis. Yeah. His ankles turning over. He all on his front foot. He need to if he gonna play in sandals, he need to at least get the Roman gladiator joints with the support atop the straps.
He come through in big spots,
man. I want nothing to do with it. But anyway, that was exciting. It was an exciting game. It was a great win. Hopefully, Cade Smith is all right. Hopefully, they can win comfortably today and not have to use him. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. But at least today, unlike yesterday when he kept Cade Smith in and obviously he ends up pitching up. He walked a guy and then he hits Torkelson. Torkelson was pissed. Obviously wasn't done on purpose.
Back-to-back days, Cade Smith hit him.
Yeah.
Neither was intentional.
Of course
obviously.
not. You're never going to hit him on purpose. And then Rocchio actually made that error that kept the inning a little, going a little longer. So he ends up throwing 30 whatever pitches yesterday. But at least today, whereas yesterday, if you took him out, you were stuck with Festa or Allard. Today, you could set it up if quietly you're not going to use Smith, where you're saving Gaddis for the end of the game, or whoever, whatever. Steve on our text chat, I keep throwing EP Steve under the bus. He's like, if Allard and Festa, if you don't trust them, well, then why are they on the roster? Well, you have a 26-man roster. You're not going to trust everybody the same way.
Yeah, you're right.
You're not going to have 8 relief pitchers that you completely trust. This is a big spot. The entire season is on the line. I know it's a 5-run lead. I can't bring in Matt Festa to close out a game with the season on the line, even with a 5-run lead. I get it. For a moment, as they were going to ninth, I'm like, maybe they should bring in Festa, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm like, it's crazy. You got to close. You got to win now. 5-run leads have been blown before. It's not common, but obviously it happens sometimes.
So if Cade doesn't go, who will go?
I would think Gaddis would be saving him. Probably. Now, they could save both Gaddis and Heron for somewhat late and then use them. But what I think they're going to do today, well, we'll get to the preview later. Let's save that. We'll get to the preview.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole preview real quick, though.
Yeah.
Just 1 second on the preview.
Yeah.
Sony's on the mound today for the Guardians. We've seen the ups and the downs of Slade throughout the season. He's been really good as of late.
Yeah.
Do you think we see good Slade, great Slade, average Slade, or bad Slade today?
I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be average. I think I'll say this.
Fell off like that. Let me see them stats.
I don't expect either starting pitcher to go very deep into this game.
He fell off like
who do you feel has a better upside? Like who has it if they hot today?
Cicconi's on the upswing and Flaherty's kind of on the downswing. But Flaherty's a veteran, so he's had more experience in these situations. This is Slade Cicconi's first postseason experience.
By the way, if you look at their names right there, it looked like their names should be switched.
100%.
Saucony looks like a Flaherty, and Flaherty looks like Saucony.
That's true.
Flaherty looked like his name should be Slade Saucony. And
he looks more Italian.
And he has a leather jacket and rides a bike.
Right.
That's funny because he do look like he ride a bike.
Saucony looks more like he just got arrested for meth last year.
Yeah. He got his lab blew up.
Yeah.
He definitely looked like he got a motorcycle for sure.
All right, we're going to preview Game 3. We'll do a full preview in a little bit, but we got to pivot over and talk about some of the other things going on in Cleveland. Guys, the NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between waiting screens, logins, and prices jumping at checkout. It can be frustrating. That's why I love Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. Plus, you'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time with the best prices. Plus, all the fees are included, so the price you pay is the price you see. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. All right, guys, we got the news that Dillon Gabriel is taking over the starting quarterback role for the Cleveland Browns against the Minnesota Vikings this Sunday. We kind of touched on it a little bit yesterday, but wanted to dive into more of the X's and O's now that we've had a full day to digest this information. But, G, I want to start with you on this one. You talked about it on Ultimate Browns earlier this week, too. With the quarterback change, how much different do you expect the offense to look from a schematic standpoint against Minnesota compared to what we saw the first 4 weeks with Joe Flacco?
A whole lot different.
Better.
Like, like now, like I said before, man, the season actually starts, right? Before, it's just funny how things happen when you make changes, right? You know what I'm saying? We used to work in corporate America, people used to say, when changes happen, you have a merger or you have a new manager. Watch how everything ratchet up a little bit. Watch how the eyes get a little more focused. Watch how the fans watch the game a little more with a careful eye. They looking at everything. And so now, you, Kevin Stefanski, for the first time, you are not playing with house money. For the first time, you feel a level of pressure to coach, to move this team, and to actually put a game plan together tailored towards your quarterback. Sean King talked about it all the time. A great play caller, it accentuates the strengths of a quarterback. Your great play caller and a coach finds what you can do best and marries his game plan and his philosophy to the player. So if you're going to take that same type of rationale, you're definitely going to run different things better. As we see right here, how many rollouts is it? Just watching the film. Good job, Steve. Look at this. I don't know if you picked it. You see it. They're going to work with the quick stuff. One thing that I noticed when I went to practice is that Dillon Gabriel throws a very nice out route. He throws a nice out route. He throws timing. He throws the ball with a lot more velocity than it looks like he should be able to. He's going to move around. Now, he's not John Elway or Steve Young. He's not running around, but he got enough to move in the pocket, step up, and do some things. And when you can do that, you can move the pocket a little bit. You can buy yourself some time. The thing that was so disappointing with Joe Flacco is he couldn't even buy himself another extra second to let the routes develop. If you got a shot play called and you know you got some pressure, then you know, hey, I got to buy me some time. I got to figure it out. Like Bernie said, hey, give me a couple extra seconds on this. I don't care if you got to lightweight hold a little bit. I got to hit my man over the top. So, yeah, this offense is going to look way, way different, Bull. And I think Kevin Stefanski is going to be, hopefully, invigorated in terms of his creativity because he knows he has to give his younger quarterback a better look and easier looks early on.
Tyvis, you buy in what G. Bush is selling?
Yeah, I think he hit it on the head. I think that he brings that mobility aspect. I think that you can move the pocket. Anytime you got tackles that's struggling, if your quarterback is a statue, he can't move out of the way. At least now that you have Dillon Gabriel back there, you can roll him out, make that guy have to run an extra mile or put an extra blocker to the side that you roll into, make that backside end have to take the long road to get there. He gets the ball out in a pretty timely manner. He's been doing that since college, since he was at Oregon last year. So I'm not worried about him not getting the ball out and taking sacks. I think that him having that, since he's a computer, him being able to process everything so fast, he should be able to get the ball out in a timely manner. I'm interested to see who is the guy that he has the connection with, because every young quarterback has a guy. It's just one guy that they're going to go to. I know in the preseason when he had those couple of games, it was
Jamari Thrash.
Bang. And who's been a guy who's been a ghost.
Maybe we might see that.
He ain't running no bang.
Nah, maybe we can get it in the playbook though, Tyvis.
What? Jamari Thrash?
No, not
bang
him.
eight?
Nah, that's a bond route.
What, a bang eight?
Yeah,
he ain't catching no. It's a Jerry Jeudy route. He just got to get. You just better make sure when you catch it, just it's a chance that you go get your head knocked off. So just make sure you catch it. Michael Irvin said that he caught that ball because he didn't want to go back to the hood. If he didn't catch his life depended on catching that slant, that bang eight. So whoever's running that route, if they run a bang eight, I might cry. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I might cry. I've been begging for it for like 2 weeks. Like, what's going on? But I do think that, Dillon Gabriel, it's crazy because I've been trying to figure out why haven't we been under center a lot? Like, what's going on? The old Kevin Stefanski had everybody operating from under center. Why is that not the case? And I thought about it. Tommy Rees is here now. So Tommy Rees must have put the spin on it that obviously he's from college, Alabama and Notre Dame and all those places. They operated out of the spread.
Yeah.
So did Oregon. Oregon was out of the spread majority of the time as well. So maybe, that comfortability for Dillon Gabriel, maybe he can operate out of the shotgun and still be effective. But I still want to see some play action, some under center stuff.
G, you said, what'd you say? The Kevin Stefanski's not playing with house money anymore.
Yep.
So let's think about the quarterbacks since Kevin Stefanski's been here. Baker Mayfield was drafted before he got here. He wasn't his guy.
There you go.
Deshaun Watson was a unique circumstance, a trade. He didn't really fit what Kevin Stefanski wanted to do.
There you go.
Every other quarterback they've had in the last few years,
Jacoby Brissett,
are journeymen and backup guys. Right? Flacco, Brissett.
The DTR was a 5th round.
The bald guy. What's the bald guy? What's his name? He's here for
Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs.
The bald guy.
Yeah. What else?
So those have all been
Kellen Mond.
These are guys who are backups and journeymen.
Yeah.
Now, we may all think that Dillon Gabriel is going to be a backup and journeyman too. But the Browns don't think that. Because if they thought that and they drafted him in the 3rd round, well, they're even dumber than I think they are. And the one thing I don't think about Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, I don't think they're dumb. They may have other flaws, but dumb I don't think is it. So they must believe, in my mind, that Dillon Gabriel has at least a chance to be a solid starter in the NFL. Otherwise, why would you draft him in the 3rd round? It doesn't make any sense.
What is it about? Is the size the only thing about Dillon that people dislike?
I think that's the biggest thing.
It was the number. When you read any scouting report, Tyvis, and I went back and read a lot of the Dillon Gabriel scouting reports coming out of the draft. The number one knock, the first thing listed, whether it was the major thing or not, the first thing listed was the height on every single scouting report.
See, well, and here's the thing, too. Go ahead. Yeah,
but I just think it's interesting because I'm not saying that this guy's a successful quarterback, but he makes plays, and granted, he's a little more athletic. But Kyler Murray runs the exact same offense that Kevin Stefanski runs, and it works for them.
But Kyler Murray has elite athleticism.
That's why as far as the running goes.
But
Kyler Murray's also,
but he still delivers the ball, and they do a great job of moving the pocket.
But let's be fair about it, and maybe this is what Dillon Gabriel's going to be. I think we'd sign for this right now. Kyler Murray's just a mid-tier quarterback. He's a starter.
I just said
no
that.
doubt.
Right? I'm not saying he's elite in any way.
No, you're right.
I'm just saying he runs the offense and he's short, and it still works.
And the thing is, with the Browns defense, if they got Kyler Murray level quarterback play, they'd be pretty good.
Probably.
They'd be a competitive team. I don't know you win a Super Bowl that way. Probably not, but
they go to the
playoffs. Especially this year's AFC.
They go to the playoffs.
Right now, the Bengals are like the 5 seed in the AFC. They stink.
But people got to catch the ball.
Yeah, but
that's true. That's a part of it.
But they would be a playoff team.
Yeah, I think. And so, again, who knows what Dillon Gabriel's going to be? But I think for the first time, okay, Kevin, let's see what this guy's got, because you obviously liked him.
Yeah.
And part of the reason, you talk about the height, part of the reason nobody likes him, let's face it, we're all swayed by mock drafts. And nobody had this guy being drafted this high.
Nobody.
But, see, the difference between me, I watched him, and I had to cover him last year, so I watched
you,
him.
Tyvis, but you know the majority
So like,
of people.
I know the dude actually is a baller, but is it just the height?
Well, what's it? So do you think he could possibly be a starter in the NFL?
I never said he couldn't.
I'm asking you now, though.
Yeah, I think he'd be. I think there's a really good chance he could be really good.
So you think the best is it fair to say that the best case scenario for Dillon Gabriel is what Kyler Murray is now? Like maybe not the exact same
not
player,
the athleticism, but
that level of play. Is that?
I mean, Kyler Murray done threw for some yards in the league now.
I believe. See, Dillon can sling the peel. Like I at first I thought it was like maybe outside of the height. I was like maybe he just don't got the arm strength.
Right.
But then I watched some plays from Oregon last year. He was hitting people deep on the fades in the post.
Maybe he'll be the next.
So like I don't.
You know, who knows?
To me, honestly, the only knock there's ever been that anybody's ever disliked about him is the height, and it's kind of funny to me because it's like. Baker's throwing for 4,000 yards, and he probably like what, an inch taller than him?
No.
Baker's like 6 foot, 6'1", right?
What is he?
Isn't he like 5'10"?
5'11" was the combine measurement.
I didn't see him.
I seen him too.
Listen, Baker Mayfield.
Stop it, man.
Baker Mayfield is way taller than this. I mean, it is striking how short he is.
Listen, G, I'm with you. We went out to practice.
Striking.
But something like Tyvis,
short.
You went to the combine.
He's not that short.
How the combine had him listed at 5'11" and a quarter.
You can't cheat that. You can't cheat.
And that's what I'm saying. But in person, G, and we were there at practice together.
What was the combine listing for Baker?
Hold on, I'll pull it up.
You can't cheat the combine. They rolling you back on your heels and looking at your feet. You ain't cheating. You ain't cheating.
Baker at the combine was 6 foot and 5/8 of an inch.
All right, so you're right. He's only an inch
like, I don't understand why everybody making a big deal out of it.
Hey, here's the thing too. So Tyvis, you gotta bring Tyvis and say, okay, when Ohio State played Oregon that second game, it wasn't even close.
Yeah,
them boys had him. Look, when you got defensive linemen and when you got dudes up front. And they game planning for you. What they do, Bull, is they obstruct your vision.
Yeah.
They're like, with that rolling stuff. Hey, Ross Tucker said it yesterday. They know they want to get the ball out quick, don't they? We all know that. We know that they want to get it out quick. And Flores is going to say, we're going to disguise, and we're going to make him throw the football deep. If he don't, we sitting on every other thing underneath. And if you constrict the pocket, your goal with Dillon Gabriel is not to run upfield and sack him so he steps up. Your job is to encircle him with a bunch of 6'5" monsters and hands with people 2 to 3 yards away from the line of scrimmage and say, if you can make that short throw 5,000 times this game in a row and we don't get hands on the football and you can put it in a window this small, we'll shake your hand.
But this is the thing. You saying this as if this is his first year ever playing football. What do you think they did in college?
That's true.
What I'm saying is,
this man was like 5th in the Heisman last year. This man threw for a bunch of yards last year, and he had the exact same thing.
But how many defensive linemen that he played against are in the NFL now?
I mean, it's
the Ohio State boys.
It's not like it ain't like he was in the MAC or something like that. He played in the Big Ten. A lot of those kids go on to at least make some type of
at Ohio State, Penn State maybe, but
Ohio State.
Oh my God!
Ohio State.
And Purdue's defensive line going to the NFL.
George Karlaftis was a first-round pick.
No, let's not get this twisted. We're not saying, and I'm not sitting up here because I want to be very clear about it. I'm excited to see Dillon Gabriel play. Because, like I said, I ain't no hater. Like, I may not think that you is all this cracked up to be, but I believe in the judiciousness of the football field. What happens between them white lines, any football player that's ever played says this. I might not even see eye to eye with you. I might not even think you that good. But if you balling, I have no chance to say it. Yeah. I'm not. If he come out and throw for 300, I'm not gonna be sitting around combing through the film talking about, look at this one play over here he didn't make. I got to say he's balling.
If he throws for 300 with this cast of characters,
you gotta get it up.
That's the part that really bothers me about the whole thing is that I don't know about the cast of characters.
It's not good enough.
That's my point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he shows any upside at all, that's pretty impressive because he's got not much around him.
My thing is like. Okay, so we talk about getting the ball out quick, right? We don't want them to hold the ball, a quick process and all that. Well, in order to get the ball out quick, those receivers must be winning pretty quickly, right?
Right. Well.
So let me ask
Is that happening?
No. Let me
Tyvis, if you tune in tomorrow to the 5-pack of stats, the receivers winning, those words don't go to the same sentence unless it's not inserted in between.
That's always a problem.
So let me get this. So
they need to make a trade.
No. We want to go back to 2 steps. Now every week, every year, Tyvis, we talk about this. G. Bush says, as Project Operation Stockpile, we need another receiver, and the chat is flooded with. No, we got Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Who said that?
These people is in the workforce now. We like our receiver room. You can't have it both ways. If you love your receiver room, and every single year we get to this point in the season and we say we have no receivers.
What game is we on? This the 5th game?
This the 5th game.
And we only got 182 yards.
Jerry Jeudy is not even on pace for 800 yards.
That's like one game for
Tyvis,
some people.
Puka Nacua had 13 receptions on Sunday. Jerry Jeudy has 13 receptions this season.
Come on, dog. And guess what? The scary thing is,
that's sad.
This is the scary part about it. If you take the quarterback, right? If you say you want the quarterback next year, that means one or 2 things is not happening.
You ain't getting no tackle or you ain't getting no receiver.
Talk to him. Talk to me nice. Either you're not, and then when you do get the quarterback, what they gonna say? Well, how do we know if this guy is good? Because we
I don't give a rat's ass. You could tell when a guy's good, even if the talent around him is not that good.
No, I'm gonna be.
He's not going to be as good as he can be.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me next year we might have to have a decision between tackle and receiver?
Yes.
Give me the receiver.
100%.
Give me the receiver. I will give me the. Joe Burrow did it with Jamar Chase. Give me the receiver.
Yes. Now listen, you passed on a receiver this year. Don't you come in here passing on. I'm just letting y'all know because we can't have the same conversation year out where we ain't got pass catchers, but then you don't go get any, bull.
Yeah, I mean, listen. In theory, they could draft a quarterback, take a wide receiver with their other first-round pick, and then draft a tackle with the first pick in the second round, or a high second-round pick. They used 2 high second-round picks this year and got 2 really good players. Mm-hmm. They could do the same thing with an O-line. I mean, you might go quarterback, receiver, first round, and then take offensive line the rest of the draft.
I would have no opposition.
I don't think nobody would say anything to that.
And I don't even like
tackle,
linemen.
guard.
You actually do. We got 1 second-round pick or 2?
I think 1.
Just 1.
Yeah.
The only thing that would come up is the corner position if you're not re-signing the G-New. You'd have to address it.
I think they might re-sign him after. I don't know.
I mean,
played well so far.
I agree, but you never know. I'm just saying.
All right, fair.
If they don't resign G-New, I know Martin Emerson coming off Achilles is tricky. You're going to have somebody.
But in general, we are excited to see it because I want to see the evaluation. I want to see what Dillon Gabriel got. Show me what you got.
One other thing, Mike, real quick, because you mentioned corner, reminded me that I don't even think we talked about it yesterday, that the Browns cut
Cam Mitchell.
Cam Mitchell, yeah.
He couldn't play.
Yeah, we mentioned it. Yeah, real quick.
He couldn't play.
He couldn't play. He might never.
Isn't that amazing? The guy went from he thought he was going to be the starter in the beginning of the year.
He was a healthy scratch.
I feel bad.
They need to go ahead and keep cleaning up the closet.
I feel bad, but you know what?
That's his new job, cleaning up closets.
Well, get your boy Zac Zinner together too.
That's his job. Too. I heard Cam Mitchell and Zac Zinner are starting a business together, cleaning up closets.
Two men in the truck.
Zac Zinner was healthy. Was active last week.
Good for him.
All right, guys, let's move on to our next topic. It's brought to us by Mazda, moving the game forward for those who believe it's not just about playing the game. It's about redefining it because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible. They remind us to go that extra yard, shift into that extra gear, and keep the game moving forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning, and just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda. Mazda, move and be moved. Guys, I called G. Bush last night, and I said, G, we used to do fence riders on Thursday. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do fence riders because the Guardians are playing. We're going to spend a lot of time on the Guardians. And something happened in the Browns locker room that is going to lead first take, and I feel like we'd be missing out if we don't at least give our 2 cents on it. We talked about it for a second at the end of yesterday's show, but in case anyone missed it, Dillon Gabriel was named the starter. Dillon then had his press conference before the team left to Berea, and he had a quote, which we're going to play for you in a second, that a lot of people thought was a shot at Shadeur Sanders. And I'm curious if you guys understand what it was. And then Shadeur spoke to the media afterwards.
No.
We're going to play you both Dillon Gabriel and Shadeur Sanders, and then we'll figure out if this is something or if this is a giant ball and nothing. But here's Dillon Gabriel first, and then Shadeur Sanders second.
I think it's funny because, I got a text from a good buddy of mine, and he sent me a picture of a fire station, and like, it's kind of like, why are you sending that, But when he sends it, he just lists the obvious, right? Like, doors are open, garage doors are open, like, things are ready to go, and like, they're just waiting on that phone call to like respond surgically. And like, just what a great representation of like the job I had and being ready for that moment. And I think, I smile because it's like a moment you prep for and you are extremely excited for, but also got to realize that it's extreme focus, and that's what I've continued to harp on. But you wait for the perfect time, you're going to wait a whole lifetime. So for me, I've always been ready.
This is why
How would that be a knock at Shadeur?
This is exactly why I hate the media.
Oh, the media is to blame?
That's what I'm talking about. They always trying to
fans are to blame.
They trying to pin people against each other. This is ridiculous.
You guys don't. If you guys don't listen to rap music, you will never understand. Like, they're like, is so and so dissing someone? You're like, no, them is just regular bars. These are regular bars.
But wait a second, Tyvis. How is the media to blame for this?
Who said that they put this was a shot at Shadeur?
Yeah, who was saying this, Mike?
I'll find a million Twitter accounts.
Were there
right
any
now.
media members saying this?
No, most. I think one did. I think Acho did, but I'll double check on
yes,
that.
yes.
Oh my
God.
Emmanuel Acho said that.
Hey, listen,
Is
Acho,
he out of his mind?
Acho. Hey, listen, Acho been going crazy. He told Shady McCoy.
We got to stop this.
He said if he wasn't black, he wouldn't act like that. I said,
wait,
Emmanuel, wait a minute, bro, you can't.
Wait. He said to Shady McCoy, what? He said Shady wouldn't act.
No, he said Shadeur Sanders wouldn't act like that if he wasn't black. And I said, I wouldn't have believed it if somebody didn't send me the clip.
Wouldn't act like what, in terms of the mime thing that we're going to get to?
Immature and silly if he was.
Why, white guys don't ever act immature and silly?
I was like, wow.
Just so everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what Shadeur then said when asked questions after Dillon
Well,
spoke.
what about what Acho? Did Acho say something?
I wanted you guys to see what Shadeur said, just so we're all working on the same page.
So we set the table.
But this is Shadeur in the locker room. We played this clip at the end of
But
yesterday's show.
you're setting it up, Mike, as if this was a response to what Dillon Gabriel said.
But people are saying this was a response.
And I'm asking you guys, do you think this is a response to Rex Ryan, to Dillon Gabriel, or just a nothing?
Right.
So this is what happened in the locker room afterwards.
Quarterback. Vocally, anything to say?
I guess one more. I guess what do you think you have to show to the coaches just to have that belief in you that you can be ready.
What can you say?
How much has Joe been important to both you and Dillon in terms of your guys' development to this point?
So what do you make of this? You and I spoke on the phone yesterday.
Yeah,
We're in alignment that this is a nothing burger. So what do you make of it?
You asking me or G?
G first.
Okay, so here's what it is. So if you guys didn't know, we'll break it down for you as the world turns in the world of Cleveland Browns and quarterbacks. So Rex Ryan comes out, and Rex Ryan says, he has this fake explosion about, you should be ashamed of yourself. If I know it, everybody around the league knows it. You need to get in the front of the classroom, and you need to be in the front. He's sitting there with his arms crossed. He's always talking and running his mouth, right? So then there's pictures that come out where it actually shows Shadeur Sanders. As a matter of fact, go watch The Ultimate Browns. I break this down eloquently on The Ultimate Browns, where I'm saying, oh, here he is in the front row right here. Here he is in the front row right here. Here he is in the front row again, in all different types of meetings and different things with the Cleveland Browns. So he's basically saying to Rex Ryan and a lot of people in the media, if I say something, it's a problem. The week before, on ESPN Cleveland, they pointed out the fact that they didn't like the fact that Shadeur had a backwards hat on. A picture comes out with a backwards hat from Ben Roethlisberger.
Who didn't like it?
What do you mean?
Who didn't? Who said something?
Oh, this was on ESPN Cleveland. I believe it was Aaron. It was Aaron. Go ahead, man.
he had a problem with him wearing a backwards hat?
Yes, I covered that also on the channel. They had a picture of every other quarterback with a backwards hat that ever wore it, and I'm talking about Hall of Famers Tom Brady, Matt Stafford, Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, continue, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We also talked about the thing where he goes up to the kicker and consoles him, say, it's okay, man, you'll get it the next time. Mm-hmm. There was multiple tweets talking about people. He just wanted to be in the camera. So you can't even go up to your teammate and say, it's okay, you just wanted to be in the camera. Yeah. So then you throw the Rex Ryan thing up there. So Shadeur is saying, listen, man, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
That's a fact.
At the end of the day, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to move my mouth because here's the point. You're asking me all these questions. Go ask Dillon Gabriel some questions, bro. He the starting quarterback.
Well, they did. They asked him questions.
But here's what they want to do.
Yeah.
They go and ask him, how do you feel about Dillon Gabriel being the starter and you're still the third string quarterback?
Did they ask him that specifically, Mike?
How do you feel about that?
I just want to know. Was that asked specifically?
How do you
I can barely hear the question.
At the end of the day,
he's trolling.
At the end of the day, bro, he's a third string. Right now, he's a third string quarterback. There's no other quarterback. If anybody else in the league got changed, they wouldn't go to the third string quarterback and ask him questions. Like, so that's one. Two, as soon as he say anything, we've said on this show multiple times that he's carried and conducted himself professionally. There was nothing he said that everybody was like, oh no, he's out of line with that. It hasn't been one of those moments. And yet people still find things to still make him criticize him and make it seem negative. Just like the one off of, I look around the league and I know I'm a better quarterback than everybody. So what am I supposed to say? I look around the league and I know I'm the worst quarterback. Like, what you want me to say? Yeah. So it's like no matter what he says, somebody gonna spin it and make it negative. So his response is, I'm gonna just mouth some stuff to y'all because if my name wasn't Shadeur Sanders, you wouldn't even be asking me these questions to begin with. And then on top of all of that, after the thing came out, you got the Rex Ryan thing. Then after he said the comment about I'm better than the league, I'm pretty sure the Browns walked over to him and said, hey, you got to chill out a little bit.
Don't say nothing.
So this is his response, like, all right, well, guess what? I'm going to do this. Okay. Because what he could have did was he could have said, you know what, I'm not talking today. Then it would have been, Shadeur Sanders, they announced Dillon Gabriel. Shadeur Sanders is upset. He won't even talk to the media. So like, today. What is he supposed to do?
You're not going to get that off.
What's this man supposed to do?
Okay, so I got a bunch of things I want to say here. Criticizing him for wearing a backward hat is stupid. It's just ridiculous. Rex Ryan's comments were over the top. Now, if Rex Ryan has heard that Shadeur Sanders is not working, if he's truly heard that Shadeur Sanders is not working hard enough behind the scenes, okay, then if that's true, and I don't know that it is, but if it is, then there's fair to be some criticism, but his criticism was way over the top, in my opinion. Anybody saying that Dillon Gabriel was taking a shot at Shadeur Sanders with his comments is an idiot. And those people have their own agendas too. Anybody say, we talk about media members having agendas, anybody saying Dillon Gabriel was taking a shot at Shadeur Sanders, you have an agenda.
I've never heard
That's the most absurd thing. There was zero he said in there. I don't even understand what he possibly said there that you could take as a shot at Shadeur.
He said perfect timing, and one of Shadeur's songs is called Perfect Timing.
Oh my God, come on. Give me a break. Hey, give me a break.
That's reach God. I'm almost there. Let me reach for it.
And while, yes, I think Shadeur, listen, I don't like what Shadeur did yesterday. I don't like it. I think he's shown a lot of maturity overall since he's been here. I thought that was a sign of immaturity in my opinion. Now, maybe in his mind, he's like, I'm just going to goof around here. I didn't like it. I do think the local media, and to be fair, I don't ever listen to ESPN radio. So I don't, it's not. There's
I listen to everything.
Okay.
I just see the clips on
To me,
Twitter.
there's nothing worth listening to on that station, so I don't ever listen to it. As soon as we embarrassed them 6 months into my time here with Dustin and got their hosts off the air, there's nobody worth listening to on that station, in my opinion. All right, there's a lot of phoniness there. There's a lot of agenda playing. There's a lot of clicks there. There's a lot of that. We all do clicks sometimes.
No, we don't.
I try to never do clicks, but sometimes on this show we do clickbait, and I don't like it, but it is what it is. So I don't pay attention there. I would say by and large, if we're fair about it, there's been a lot more unfair criticism of Shadeur Sanders from national media than there has been from local
I don't
media.
agree with that at all.
Really?
I don't agree with it at all.
Okay.
At all.
From the Browns beat reporter?
Oh, Tony Grossi is out of pocket.
Tony Grossi.
He's a Browns beat reporter and local.
He's a clown.
What do you want me to say?
Anybody else besides Grossi? Has anybody else besides Grossi on the beat?
I respect Grossi.
Hold on. No, I'm just kidding.
Has anybody else on the beat been unfair besides Grossi?
I've had issue with a lot of people. I think Mary Kay has said some things that have been unfair at times. I think listen, it's documented. You go back and watch me.
Nobody. I'm not speaking to the sports radio host, but Mary Kay, she's not purposely being unfair to Shadeur. I don't buy that.
Purposely or just being unfair is two different things.
Listen,
you could be off. Do you agree you could be off base with something and not have bad intentions?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's times where I'm off base when they're like, oh, I didn't mean to be off base.
Yes. Okay.
It was
fair. That's fair.
I'm not saying it's malicious. I'm just saying.
I think the people by and large, the people with agendas against Shadeur Sanders are more national people and maybe people that aren't even sports people.
Here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to get to.
Yeah.
I think people, here's what it is. You know that you can mention somebody's name, and when you mention his name and he's on the thumbnail, your joints is going to go up 50, 60%. Right? And then at the same time, you still want those people. Those people are clicking on because you know he has a fan base that's going to go run and watch it. But then you tell that same fan base that they're in a cult, and then you also tell them that you need to just be quiet and don't say nothing because your time will come. Okay? Now they're sitting down, not saying nothing. Dillon Gabriel's a starter. But now you want to poke the bear and say, well, look what he said. You're like, bro, you just said sit down and shut up. Which one is it?
I think this is more like the clowns like Clay Travis and Jason Whitlock and these guys.
I don't even count that.
Like, I don't know. Listen, I think Shadeur Sanders has been fine. I don't think he's done anything outrageous. This is my first time where I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like it. Now, do I think it's a big deal? Do I need to write an article about it? Do I need to make a big deal? I wouldn't even have talked about it if it were up to me. I didn't even think it was worth talking about. I don't like it. I'm not going to be a phony because I'm afraid that people are going to get mad at me if I'm critical ever about Shadeur Sanders. I didn't like it. I get what you're saying. He's probably a little frustrated by the coverage he's gotten. I would be frustrated too. His celebrity brings positives and negatives. The negative is that people, it's just like Tim Tebow. Like, his fans used to rub me the wrong way. Right? Like, I was like, why is Tim Tebow getting all this conversation? He can't play in the NFL. He can't throw the ball. It was insane that he's drafted in the first round. And people were obsessed with him. And I found it very annoying. And I think there's some people that feel that way, rightly or wrongly, about Shadeur. And so some people who have their agendas in general are going to go down this road.
Here's what
but I'm not going to say that I like this.
Personally, I wish he would have just stayed professional and answered questions.
Exactly.
Personally.
Yes.
But I do understand why he did what he did.
I get it.
All this time, he's handled the press wonderfully. He's answered questions wonderfully. So I wish he could have stuck to his gun and just said, you know what, I'm happy for Dillon Gabriel. He's done an excellent job. Joe's my guy. Joe's been great to us this whole entire time. When they ask about him not being at the twos, I would say it's still work that needs to be done. I'm working hard every day to become the
I get it. It can be frustrating. I hated to see don't let the haters drag you down to their level.
Well, here I agree.
I agree with that.
I agree with certain aspects, but at some point in time, when Rex Ryan is coming back saying the same thing that had you slide in the draft to begin with, unnamed narratives, unnamed. Yeah. So when you say if I know it, everybody in the league knows it.
Yeah.
You're lying, Rex Ryan. The pictures are right there. When you this trope, and we'll finish on this. This trope that you're lazy and you don't want to do stuff has been a trope on quarterbacks of color for years.
That is correct, yes.
It has been. So when you start throwing out that you don't have the cognitive ability, you're not smart, and they juxtapose that with the guy who's saying you're a supercomputer. You're a supercomputer, but you're lazy and you don't want to put the work in. Then you have a problem because you're consistently attacking my character, even though you see me out at Baldwin Wallace throwing the football, even when you see me doing extra. His arm was so sore because he stayed after practice for weeks and weeks and weeks just throwing the football. But yet every time you want clicks, you want to throw the narrative that you're lazy and less than. I can understand when he wants to get a little angry and excitable, because at some point in time, you got to stop sitting back taking in darts. Here's the thing I would say to him. Hey, what you do, your point was made. Here's now what you do. Tuck yourself away and get ready to play. Your point was made. Yeah. You don't have to go back and forth with Rex Ryan.
Right.
You know what they're going to bring. You know what's just coming with it. So what you do now is you say, okay, log that away. Now when I get my opportunity, it's time to go.
I just think in the end, if he would have done what Tyvis did, to me that shuts up Rex Ryan even more. It's like, look, wait, you bashing this guy. He didn't come back at you. Now he did. I mean, he didn't directly. I don't know. It's a really
we got the perfect person to ask
tough
about
situation.
This
Go
in
ahead.
the queue. So let's bring Shawne Merriman in after a quick word
Shawne
from FanDuel, guys. Major League Baseball playoffs are underway. The football season is a quarter of the way through, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS to place your first $5 bet. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome Shawne Merriman back to the show, former All-Pro linebacker who played for the Chargers and now joins us to talk all things football. Shawne, I'm sure you heard what we were just talking about there. What's your 2 cents on the whole Shadeur Sanders pantomime situation yesterday?
You know, it's you almost like don't know where to go with this situation, right? Because you damned if you do, damned if you don't. And, you know, there's some things I absolutely don't like about what Shadeur did. I think I was talking about it before I came on the show, like, you wish he just gave a straight answer. Hey, I got to get out there, play football, and kept it easy. And he just added on. It's like throwing fuel on the fire that's already – I'm like this. I don't like giving people something more, right? Like you see somebody online, they're talking crap, they're going back and forth. Like if you don't respond to them, eventually they just go away, right? So if Shadeur just gives a very straightforward, short answer, all this thing goes away. Now he's back. Now he's the main talk on all the sports shows this morning, as we're talking about it right now. So you just wish that he just didn't give them ammo. Is it terrible? No, it's not terrible. But don't give them extra ammo because you're just furthering your way off the field every time it happens. So I'm just hoping now he learned from the situation where it's like, man, just don't give those dudes ammo. They're going to talk. They're going to say certain things. It's going to be that way, but just don't give them a little something extra to go on.
Shawne, you went up against a lot of quarterbacks in the league and in your career. You know, when we're looking at Dillon Gabriel, obviously he's a shorter quarterback. Did that change the way you pass rushed them, knowing that they were short, or did that change how the defense attacked him?
Well, normally shorter quarterbacks got to have deeper drops because they can't see over the line of scrimmage. And if you look at some of the shorter quarterbacks, I played with one in Drew Brees. He's going to kill me for saying this, but, he was a shorter quarterback. And so, Drew would drop a lot deeper than a lot of guys because they can't stay so much in the pocket, right? And so, so there's certain things. But also, too, with him, it's things he has to adjust with his game because of his height. It's things that he has to do different because of his body structure and his height. So it works both ways.
Listen, it's so crazy. I probably should have looked at the rundown, but I probably should have looked at the rundown, and I didn't know you was on. And just last night, I was sitting there flicking through. I'll be in the YouTube time machine, and I saw you in the Kerry Hilson joint with Kanye West, and I said, "Oh, that's Shawne Merriman." With the joint on. I said, "Hold on." It was real quick. You had the joint like that. So I said, "Lights out is on here." I didn't even know that. Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? That's just if you know, you want to check that out. Have you ever had a situation when you have gone from, say, for instance, a veteran quarterback to a rookie quarterback, or you switch quarterbacks, what is your mindset defensively when you say, okay, we got a quarterback switch? Do you go about the game differently? Like Myles Garrett and his defense is tremendous. So does the defense huddle up and say, hey guys, we got to do this or we got to do this? What is your mindset when a quarterback change happens?
Well, let me tell you, man, I don't care how great that defense is. Like, this is not the 2000 Ravens, right? Where you can average 9 or 10 points on offense and still go to the Super Bowl. Those days are done.
Yep.
There's too many great quarterbacks now, too many points scored. So those days are completely done. But what you will do is have internal conversations in that defensive meeting room saying, guys, we got to step up. Like, if we let if we let this other team score, and we kind of got to be and on the front street now, because we know they're going to struggle. But what happens is, and it happens in every single defense, I don't care how great the defense is, and that's why I referenced the 2000 Ravens. Mm-hmm. You can only go for so long, right? So, like, say you stop a great quarterback for 3 quarters, y'all stopping them, but the offense is doing nothing. The offense is trash. At some point in that fourth quarter, man, like, physically you're gonna get tired, you're gonna get mentally drained, emotionally drained. You put everything out there in it to put yourselves to win the game, and that's where a lot of teams fold. And eventually, when it happens, game after game after game, that great defense starts to just be very average because you held up your end as long as possible, but it's not having no effect. And so this is, one thing I always said about Myles Garrett, man. Like, and I know he just signed that big deal, and I'm not saying that he should make any moves out of Cleveland, but if you just see what's going on there year after year after year. This dude deserves more. Like, you put Myles Garrett, man, with the 49ers. You put Myles Garrett down there in Dallas. You put him anywhere to give him a better opportunity, because it's unfortunate that he's going to go down as one of the best defensive players of all time on one of the worst franchises of all time. And that is a tough pill to swallow. Because as great as we all know that Myles Garrett is, if you put him with anybody in the NFL that can score him, you put him on the Ravens right now, and they're scoring 30-plus points a game, good night. That dude might have 25 sacks a season because it works hand in hand with your offense being able to score, so you're in pass rush situations, man. So, kudos to him, because that says a lot about him toughing it out, being in that situation, knowing that there's not a whole lot of upside in certain times.
Shawne, I'm curious, with you go from a veteran quarterback to a rookie, you go from a right-handed quarterback to a left-handed quarterback, a quarterback who's a complete statue to a quarterback who's got some mobility. From an offensive line perspective, how much of a challenge is it for them to protect for Dillon Gabriel?
It's as far as him being a righty or lefty, is not going to make a whole lot of difference. It's going to be the cadence and the ability and how long certain guys hold on to the ball. Do they go through their progressions and then take off, or do they go to look at one place and then they take off running? So it's really getting used to who's back there other than him being a righty or lefty. So it's definitely cadence, because certain guys cadence, hard counts, silent counts. The cadence is different, so you got to get used to that. But does this guy go through the progressions, and when does he take off when things aren't open? Right. But they knew Flacco wasn't going to be like. I mean, come on, it's almost disappointing, because you rather just go ahead and start Gabriel. I mean, we know, and that's nothing against Flacco, because he's had a great career. Yeah. But we know what he is at this point. And so, what use, right? How good are you doing your team in these situations when you're Flacco should have been second or third string. That you should have him there if both of these two young guys just start stinking it up. Yeah. And then he has to come in. We know what Flacco is at this point. All you did is slow down the process of your two younger guys. Mm-hmm. So I would have had Flacco as the safety net if all else fails. But you're just slowing down the process of these two younger guys who could be starters for the next 5 to 7 years for you.
How about from a Brian Flores perspective of like what to expect from a rookie when you're preparing the Minnesota defense for this game?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like the Chargers going out and losing against Dart, right? You don't know what to expect. That's the crazy part. You don't have You don't have a lot of film on him. There's going to be some excitement because he's going to be able to do more than Flacco did. So, he's going to run for some first downs. He's going to get up excited. The rest of the team could feed off of that and use that as momentum. So you really don't know what they expect. And as for defense, we look at film, tendencies. Does this guy go through progressions? Is his feet balanced before the snap? Or is that a running sign as he's passing? These are the things that we look at as a defensive player, but you have nothing. You don't have a whole lot on him. And I think that the Chargers fell victim of that same thing with Dart. That team, the Giants fed off of him coming out there with energy, and it could be the same situation here.
We talk about this, Shawne, and offensive line play. Now, when you look at it nowadays, I feel like we had Ross Tucker on, and we feel like defensive ends nowadays, I don't know if it's in the water or it's just the fact that you got better athletes just every single year. Like, you even take a look at, I played in the early 2000s. Like, in the 90s, it was, bro, you had that Bruce Smith type of body build. Bruce Smith looked like an old deacon in the church or something, bro. But you start getting cats like y'all.
Bad man.
Yeah, he was bad, but he had good grown man strength. But y'all started coming around late 2000, 2010. Y'all was twitched up. You didn't know if they played linebacker or stand up.
That's true.
And then all of a sudden, guys is starting to come off both edges, and this is crazy.
Who was the Steelers had a linebacker who was like 300? Was it Levon Kirkland? They had a linebacker who was like 300 pounds.
Levon Kirkland.
I don't know.
Levon Kirkland was a big guy.
That's a big dudes.
But now I look at these is the queens on the chessboard, Shawne. Now, if you got a defensive end like that, they can't do nothing with them. It's wrecking the plays. Where's the evolution?
So let me tell you, man, this offseason, I got invited to Max Crosby's, Cam Jordan, and Von Miller Sack Summit. It was out here in Vegas. And the game, the cool thing about being out there is that I actually saw why these guys, the evolution, I saw why they're so much better than even we were. For one, these guys are sharing information. Like, when I was playing, we didn't want to tell nobody nothing. Like, I wanted to lead the league in sacks. I'm like, I'm not telling you nothing, right? I don't care who you are. Like, I want to lead the league in sacks. So for one, they just got a lot more cooperative on what moves and what counters, what plays, stands, signs, position. I mean, they share a lot of information too, because of the quarterback change from being like mobile and can throw. See, back when I played, you can either do one or two. You can either a mobile quarterback or you can throw. The other one stand in the pocket, the other one's going to take it and run. And so we didn't have the Lamar Jacksons. We didn't have, Michael Vick then was the only, but that was it. You couldn't really do both. I mean, even the guys like Patrick Mahomes can hurt you with his legs. He's not a runner.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, the list goes on, and guys who can hurt you running the football now. So in a sense, your pass rush moves, your pass rush positioning, your lanes, all these things change now because you're not just going back there knowing you can get a guy every time. You're going back there with the ability knowing that he can take that ball and tuck it and run for 25. And so we didn't have that. So the game had the styles of body. I mean, I played at around 265, 270, which is a big outside linebacker. I played DN too, but that was a big outside linebacker. These guys now, like Myles Garrett, I mean, dude, he looks ridiculous when I saw him in person. He's like, like, for me to sit there and say, like, yo, you look ridiculous, that is ridiculous for me to say that, right? And so, the game has just changed drastically when you have the offense side of the ball that's also progressed at the same time.
Shawne, first of all, Shawne, I want to say shout out to your Terps, man. They look good. You know what I'm saying? I got the little freshman quarterback Malik Washington doing his thing. You got the two DNs, edge rushers doing their thing. I said, watch out for Maryland this year. I want to give you a shout out to that.
Appreciate it, man. I was with Mike Loxley before the season started. I was spending some time with him back in Maryland, and he was telling when he was talking to me, it was unlike the hype stuff he was giving me years before. Right, when he said, "Oh, we got a good team. Watch out for this kid, Malik Washington. watch out for these pass rushes. He remind me of you. And I was like, yeah. You know, I heard that for the last couple of years. It was something about how Mike Locksley was talking about this team and their cohesiveness and like the way that they're approaching the season, and them going out winning against Wisconsin, man, was big. It was a statement game.
Yeah. So let me ask you about obviously the Browns is playing in what London? They're in London. Yep. How does that change things? You know, I don't know if you ever got a chance to play overseas or not, but how does that change, like, obviously the week of preparation, knowing that you got to fly out and trying to remain locked into the game and knowing that you in a different country?
It really depends on the team and the day they travel, right? Like, I think the Chargers only went out a couple of days before they played in Brazil. And so it really, when they get there and try to get them acclimated to that time difference, you know, and so that makes a big key. Other than that, it's just a game. You know, you get out there now, the field conditions could be different. I forgot exactly where they're playing. I think there was some kind of complaints before out there about the field conditions. But other than that, the timing is everything. Once you're out there, you get acclimated to that time difference, you're ready to go.
Shawne, we appreciate it. Before you go, I know you got another big fighting event coming up here, November 1st, right?
I got a huge one coming up November 1st. Lights Out Extreme Fighting 28. We just finished Lights Out Extreme Fighting 27, 2 Saturdays ago. Our biggest show for sure. We just had one of our guys on Dana White Contender Series 2 nights ago who just came from us. And then we had, Santiago Luna that fought the UFC 2 or 3 fights ago. So we're having these next up-and-coming superstars. So make sure you guys check us out. Lights Out Extreme Fighting 28 will be in Long Beach, California, but y'all can watch it live on Lights Out Sports TV. Make sure you download that on every smart TV, iOS and Android.
There you go. November 1st is the date. Thanks, Shawne. We appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, we're going to go out to England and talk to Zac Jackson in just a little bit. But the Guardians play their game in about 2 hours and 45 minutes, Game 3, and the starting lineup is out for the Guardians.
Yeah,
Am I going to be happy?
You are going to be happy, Bo. I'll show you the starting lineup after a quick word from Game Time. Guys, if you're looking to get tickets to any sporting event, Game Time's the only app you should be using because they put the advantage back in the hands of the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best prices. Plus, all the fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. Download the Game Time app right now. Create an account and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. Download Game Time today. All right, let's see the lineup, Steve. You take Zach Meisel's tweet full here via tag board. The Guardians are going back with the young guns. You have Stephen Kwan leading off, George Valera batting second, Jose third, Manzardo DHing, hitting fourth, Chase DeLauder moving up in the lineup to the 5th spot.
Yeah, that's
Arias at 6, Naylor 7, Kafis 8, and Rocchio rounding out the lineup. Bowl, you said you would run back the exact lineup from yesterday, slightly tweaked. What do you think of this lineup?
I like it even better. I mean, when I said that, I just meant the same 9 guys, which it is the same 9 guys. I love that they moved DeLauder up in the lineup. I believe he was hitting 7th yesterday. What did they just flip-flop? Naylor? No, Arias.
No.
I think they dropped Arias and Naylor one spot each and moved up DeLauder to. Well, Kafis was hitting 8th, wasn't he?
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Let me double check.
I can't remember. I think he was.
I believe Kafis was 8th, though, yes.
Yeah. I'm excited about that lineup. Let's go.
Something just came to me.
Yeah, what do you got?
The lineup yesterday was Kwan, Valera, Ramirez, Manzardo, Naylor, Arias, DeLauder, Kafis, and Rocchio.
Oh, so they just flip-flopped Naylor and DeLauder.
If that is not the opening day lineup in 2026, I'm going to have a problem.
Well, I want it to be even better, frankly.
They better spend some money to get some other bats in there.
I want Kwan. I'm fine with Kwan, Valera, Ramirez, Manzardo, DeLauder, and Kafis. I want at least 1, if not 2 of those other 3 spots. And I know Rocchio's been good here, and I want upgrades on one of the spots with a legit major league hitter.
Do we get who's like a?
But yes, most of this lineup I want.
One of those Bazana.
Probably not. I don't think he's even ready to start. Well, we'll see. Yeah, he could be. But I want a proven major league hitter to add it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about free agents. Like, obviously,
I haven't looked over the free agency landscape yet.
But But if you get a professional hitter, to throw in there some of them spots, that is a very that's an interesting lineup that a G. Bush can get a hold of. See, there's 3 or 4 guys you can chart and follow through there.
Yeah. Now, the one guy who is a free agent, I'll talk about this real quick. I know, and then we'll get.
I know we kind of
we'll talk about this.
It's okay. We just
so last year I wanted Gleyber Torres was the guy I wanted them to sign. Right.
You kept taking the victory lap.
Right, and he's had a heck of a season.
Yes, he has.
So here's my guy next year. This is even higher game hunting, but I think this and this would displace one of the guys that I like, so it's not perfect.
Cody Bellinger.
No, better than that.
What?
Pete Alonso.
What? Well, how you figure?
Yes.
How you figure you getting that off?
Because Pete. Now it's unlikely, but remember when the Guardians signed Edwin Encarnacion?
Yes.
Like, Pete Alonso is kind of in that vein. Like, how old is Pete Alonso, Mike?
34.
I think, no, he's not that old, but he's a little older than I think. Like,
32.
I think a lot of people think he's in his 20s.
He's 30 years old.
How much?
Turns 31 in December.
So he turns 31. So, like, nobody offered him a big deal last year because he would have signed it. He ended up returning to the Mets to, like, opt out after 1 year. First basemen in their 30s don't get big contracts, at least in terms of amount of years.
Well, and we going to DH him if we get him?
No, I play him at first base.
He's that good at first base?
Chase DeLauder? I mean, not Chase DeLauder.
I've been Zardo as the DH. Or you use them
okay,
both. Whatever.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
You know?
I'm cool with that.
Now, what that means is, you know, and then, now DeLauder, I got to work the whole offseason to make him a legitimate center fielder.
Okay.
And then I go with either Kafis or Valera in right.
Okay.
I trade the other one. Maybe to get a catcher, maybe to get some more pitching. I like those guys, but I'd rather have Pete Alonso.
Do you think I would rather trade Valera than Kafis? Is that messed up? But Kafis is a little injury prone, but Valera came along. Valera's a late bloomer, it looks like.
I would rather trade Valera than Kafis too. I don't know how much you're getting for him, but whatever.
All right, go.
Maybe you keep him as another bench guy, whatever.
All right.
Or another possibility is move Quan to center. That probably makes more sense. I know he's great in left field. Move Quan to center.
There you go.
And let between and in left and right, you have Kafis, Valera, and DeLauder. DeLauder plays every day. And then Kafis and Valera split time in right. And they occasionally play DH.
Got the power corners
they'll get enough at bats, right? So you don't have to trade any of them. And I know Pete Alonso is probably a long shot because he'll probably get a lot of money per year. But offer Pete Alonso a 3-year, $100 million deal.
Well,
let's go.
I love the fact that your mind's already thinking ahead, but we got a game that
decides
the season.
But I'm just saying, like, if you had this lineup with Pete Alonso,
it'd be a lot different.
If you hit Pete Alonso right after Jose in the cleanup spot.
This is what happens when you start. You already in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You look like you're trying to close somebody. We get excited, McNuggets.
Yeah. I want Pete Alonso. I don't think the Mets are going to re-sign him. I think the Guardians are perfect.
I think he want to be there.
You know, this is a baseball show. This is a baseball panel.
We'll talk more about that in the offseason because I'm as much of a long shot as I know it is. I'm going to be on the Pete Alonso train all
offseason. We got Sony versus Flaherty today, Bull.
Baseball
pressure now today. Back on. I feel way more on Detroit's shoulders. I did have a question. I wanted to ask you this.
I do agree. Yesterday, I think the pressure's all on the Tigers today.
I agree. Detroit went 1 of 15 with runners in scoring position yesterday.
And they weren't good the first day either.
They were not.
Yeah.
Is a stat like that something that just varies, or is that something that eventually mounts up and then the guys start feeling even extra pressure?
I think there's definitely. I think the Tigers are thinking think about it. The Tigers have scored 3 runs in these 2 games, and 2 of the 3 were unearned runs. Right? I mean, 3 runs. They've scored 3 runs. 2 of the 3 of their runs are unearned runs. So, and that's the first game. So they've only gotten 1 big hit. That was Baez's hit yesterday in a big spot. Otherwise, they've been completely unclutch. I mean, McKinstry had the nice, it wasn't a hit, but it was a nice safety squeeze bunt. But they've had 1 big hit in 2 games with guys in scoring position, and that was by Baez. And even on that play, it ended with an out at third base. So, I think the Tigers are likely to be tight in these situations. The Tigers were the best team in baseball all season long. Well, I shouldn't say that.
No.
They were the best team in the American League for the first 4 months of the season. And now they may be out of the playoffs without ever playing a home game in the playoffs.
That's
if
tough.
they lose today.
That's tough.
Nasty work.
We'll all be disappointed if the Guardians lose today, obviously. But we didn't expect anything.
Yeah.
And if the Guardians win this series, it's all gravy from there.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, the Mariners, everybody thinks the Mariners are the best team in the American League now.
Beef gravy, too. Beef gravy.
Ooh, beef gravy.
Yeah,
I like
man.
beef
Shoot.
gravy. Like beef gravy with some biscuits?
Oh, you didn't send it over the top.
What's wrong with y'all?
Maybe
y'all
throw
hungry?
a nice little scrambled egg in the mix.
Man, we got
See why? That's
two
a
fat
big
dudes.
guy. You always got to take it over.
Always goes to food. Yeah.
Just leave it at biscuits and gravy. You don't even put the egg on there.
Okay, something to keep in mind for this game today. So you got Slade Ciccone starting the game for the Guardians. Mm-hmm. We know that the Tigers lose their minds when the Guardians bring in a lefty. They pinch hit for Riley Green yesterday. So I think maybe as early as
the fifth?
Their second time at bat, probably the third, but probably that we'll see Joey Cantillo come in this game. At some point, he's going to bring in Cantillo to pitch a few innings. Unless Slade Ciccone's just absolutely lights out. But even if he is, he's still not going to let him face those guys a third time. It just might happen later.
I'll pull him at third inning. If I got enough, third inning.
If the Guardians, if it's a close game, I don't know that I want Ciccone facing their good lefties, Carpenter and Green, a second time. I don't even know about a second time.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It depends how the game's going. There's no way he faces those guys a third time. Zero chance. Unless he's pitching a perfect game until that point and the Guardians have a big lead, there's no chance he's doing that.
So you got Ciccone.
Ciccone into Cantillo, very likely.
Really quick third, and then Cantillo. Then you gonna go back to a righty.
Yes.
So who would be in there? Is it Herron?
No, Herron's a lefty. You'd probably go maybe Jacob Junis, who's pitched well for them.
Is there any chance Logan Allen gets a shot in this game too? No. I'm just asking because we know the bullpen's
he's a lefty also.
He's a sophomore.
I know.
But
I'm saying if let's say Cantillo gets you through one round of line.
No, I don't think
Carpenter
so.
And
because they have Herron, they have Sobrowski. Those guys can both pitch today. If Josh Allen pitches, Logan Allen. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
If Josh Allen pitches, something's going terribly wrong.
If Logan Allen pitches, it means the Guardians are getting smoked. Or the game has gone 13 innings.
Josh Allen do look like a dominant pitcher, though.
He's big, like Roger Clemens.
If we're bringing in Josh Allen from Buffalo.
Yeah. Big boy.
The big unit.
Are we going out to England for Zach in a minute?
As soon as Zach's here, I'll let you guys know. He's still
so we got 3 games today. By the way, before this year again, there had been sweeps in 12 of the 14 series. This year, only 1 sweep.
I wanted to ask you guys a question, and any one of you guys can start on this one, so whoever wants to take it. In a locker room, in a clubhouse, in a situation like the Guardians and the Tigers are in, do you want a serious everyone locked in mentality? Do you want it to be loose? How would you, if you were in that situation, how would you prefer the lead up to first pitch be?
I think baseball and football is different, maybe, Tyvis. I don't know what you think, but I want guys loose. I don't want to be like, let's be locked in. I think that makes you tense and uptight.
You can't.
You loosen the locker room, locked in on the field.
That's right.
So in high school, football was never like, all right, it wasn't no such thing as loose or tight for football. It was like, oh yeah, you first play, you about to get hit. So
it's different.
You're like, all right, well, I'm in the game now.
You locked in there.
But baseball is different because you have to actually play baseball like it's just you and a bunch of kids playing in the backyard. That's
the attitude you got to have.
Where it's just like, hey, it's a ground ball. Like the most nerve-wracking thing ever, if you watch this, I used to play third base. If I thought about throwing the ball to first base,
you messed the throw up.
I would throw it in there.
Yeah, that is true though.
You got to let your instincts take over.
You just got to be all natural.
If it's a ground ball, you got to actually zone out and just be like, I'm gonna just rely on the field work that I done put in, backhand.
That's very true.
So you get it and you throw it, but you got to in baseball, you got to actually be acting like ain't nobody even there. Which is so hard to do.
I think Jose keeps them loose. I think they're a loose locker room, and I think they're going to be loose coming into this game. I do.
Let's make our predictions real quick because Zach's in the queue.
I think the Guardians are going to win today.
3-1. 3-2.
Guardians break it open. Timely home runs early. I got him winning this game 8-5.
3-2.
I say neither pitcher makes it through the fourth inning. Neither starting pitcher.
No.
I think it's going to be a little. I said this yesterday. It was going to be a little bit of a higher scoring more than expected. They ended up with 7 runs in the game. I think it's going to be even more than that today. A little bit of high scoring. I'm going 6-4 Guardians.
Look at that.
6-4. All right, guys, let's head out over to the pond, across the pond, actually, to a good friend of ours. After a word from Mazda, for those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it, because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible, reminding us to go that extra yard, shift into that extra gear, and keep the game moving forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning, and just like there's more to every Mazda, there's more to every highlight as well. Mazda, move and be moved. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome in our first international guest in the history of UCSS. It is Zack Jackson coming at us from wherever in London.
Jolly old England.
Are. What's up, Zack?
Oh, we can't hear Zack.
We had his audio. Zack, hold on. Unmute yourself. We had audio a second ago.
You said unmute yourself.
Nope.
All right, we're going to take him off, Zack. I'm going to send you a new link. Hold on.
Shame.
And I just found out, we were sitting after the show, just so you know, since this is a Guardians panel. We was talking about a random black pitcher that pitched for the Guardians.
You was talking about this Tuesday.
I found out who it was.
Who was it?
Xavier Curry.
But isn't he Latin?
No.
He's
black.
He's. I didn't know he was black. I thought he was Latin.
I mean, we're the same. We cousins.
Yeah, but that's different. I mean, to me, that's two different categories.
He's dark as me, so
is Sammy Sosa black? I don't think it's Sammy. I think Sammy Sosa's Latin.
Yeah, they made him go back to being black.
No, I'm not.
He's black. Yeah, he's black.
But he's Latino.
He's a Latino, right?
Yeah.
But Xavier Curry, I couldn't even remember who it was. Like, your name is Xavier and Curry. Like, so yeah, definitely. That's
the first pitcher I think of when you said random black pitcher is a guy named Chuck McElroy. I gotta look him up.
That's crazy.
All right, we got Zack back, and we're getting audio levels. So Zack, let's pray that it's not an international waters issue.
No,
Zack,
praying is necessary. Here's Chuck McElroy.
Wow.
All right, sorry, Zack. We got you now.
Yeah, I'll take the Guardians 5-2. Thanks for asking.
5-2. There it is.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. What time are you gonna? Oh no, the game's in the afternoon, so you don't have to stay up that late to watch it. So that's good.
Yeah, it's at 8 o'clock. So yesterday I sat in the hotel lobby and I was able to listen on Sirius to Hammy. So I'm hoping to be able to watch it tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I'll be able to, but I'll certainly be listening.
That's awesome. Hey, Zack. Obviously, we haven't spoken to you since Dillon Gabriel got named the starter. We were talking about it on Tuesday when you were on my podcast about the possibility, and now it's happened. So what do you think, and what's the buzz about it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a surprise, right? And nobody fully blames Joe. There's plenty of blame to go around, and we'll talk about that. But this offense needs a spark. And in the bigger picture, obviously, they were always going to go to a rookie quarterback at some point this year. But really, this team has a pulse. The divisions are wrecked. The defense is good. And the offense has just been so bad that, even a couple times last week they had a chance to make it more competitive, make it interesting. They didn't. So you bring this guy in, and you hope that he can not turn the ball over. You hope that he can be mobile. You hope that he can give it a spark. And look, 17-16 or 13-10 has to be your roadmap. And they haven't even gotten there. The last 3 games, only 1 touchdown before garbage time. So get 2 touchdowns, get 166 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, right? And then and see how it goes.
Zack, what is the offensive line situation looking like? I know they got Cam Robinson. Is Jack Conklin healthy? Do we see Therrell Mumford? Is it Cornelius Lucas?
Yeah, so I think we'll see Cam Robinson. But Tyvis, they practiced yesterday. We don't get to see practice, and they didn't really have a full practice today. They got here kind of overnight. They had their walkthrough, which just concluded about 30 minutes ago, and they'll have a real practice tomorrow. So we'll have a better idea then. I haven't seen the injury report. Jack Conklin, I'm sure, will be listed as limited as he's been for 3 weeks. I can tell you the last 2 weeks he was not ready to go. He has a nasty right elbow injury, and you have to be able to strike with your right arm to play right tackle. So I do think Cam Robinson will be the left tackle. Either way, that'll be 5 different offensive line combinations in 5 games. And that'll be 4 different left tackles. They had 3 last year. That'll be 4 in the season's first 5 games.
Why is it that Cam Robinson is able to play right away, but not Therrell Mumford?
Well, I think Cam Robinson's been a starter in the league for 8 years. You know, Thayer Milford's been in the league for 4 years. He's been a part-time guy. So it's a great question. And maybe we will see Thayer active this week. You know, signing him off the practice squad means he's guaranteed 3 weeks on this roster, and he should be more acclimated. So, but Cam Robinson's a 100-game starter here, and he played for this team last year, this Minnesota team. That's a pretty nice chunk of change that the Texans gave him, guaranteed $10.75 million, and then bailed on him. They're playing the rookie. It was time, they thought. The rookie was better. So, you know, it's a pretty important position to just bail on a guy in October, especially when you're the Texans and still think you can win and should win your division. So that gives me a little pause, but I don't think the Browns had many options. I think Cam Robinson was the option. So he's the next guy up, and we'll talk about it next Thursday, who's going to be the left tackle.
Yeah.
You look at this, and we've kind of talked about it with, Ross Tucker, and he says, look, they're going to try to get the ball out quickly, but, of course, Minnesota knows that. He's a rookie. They're going to mix some looks up. Do you think that this offense will look a little different? Do you think we'll come into this game and say, wow, we haven't seen that before? Kevin looks like he's in his bag a little bit.
Well, I do know it will look different, Garrett, because he's left-handed, because he's 5'11" in spikes, right? Because there'll be design rollouts. There'll be everything you would do to get a rookie quarterback comfortable. But there will be different elements, starting with, you know, mobility and some bootlegs and things like that. So he will be prepared, and, you know, there will be some of that different stuff. Look, 2 touchdowns and 166 yards and only 1 interception is a great game. And my worry would be that all of these 3 to 5 yard passes will eventually get figured out, and one of them will get swooped the other way. But if he plays an efficient game, makes a couple guys miss, extends a couple plays, and executes the script early to get everybody in a flow and kind of keep that flow, that's what they haven't been able to do, is keep that flow. Now, last week it was the drops, right? Yep. So he's got to get help from the guys around him. But I think you're going to see a big Harold Fanning game. I think Njoku's going to have to be back in the game plan. Obviously, everybody in the stadium, everybody on 2 continents knows they would love to run Judkins 25 times. But it's going to be a bunch of quick passes from Gabriel, and he's got to avoid the big mistake, and he's got to avoid the rush, and guys have to help him by catching the ball.
Who gets more reps, you think, in the game, Bond or Thrash?
Well, I think Thrash will play more, like in the 2 receiver set, but I think Bond will be part of that early script when I talk about design touches and right. Guys they want to try to get and create in space. So they're leading the league, guys, in multiple tight end sets. That's no surprise, and that should only accelerate. But this is game 5 for Bond. He's been here 2 months now, or going on 2 months. He has made some plays. Got to give him credit. Not many guys have made plays. He's made a few, and that's a few more than a lot of guys have made. So, you know, going forward in like from a fantasy football standpoint and from a who can bust a touchdown standpoint, it's Isaiah Bond. I do think that Thrash certainly showed a chemistry with Gabriel in the summer, and he certainly will catch a lot of the short ones. And I think it's going to be mostly short ones.
Who is the guy on the offensive side of the ball from Minnesota that bothers you the most?
Jefferson.
Outside of him. Outside of him.
It's Addison here, right? They believe in playmakers there. They drafted 2 first-round receivers, and he missed the first 3 games. But the guy can play. You know, didn't he win the Blitnikoff as a sophomore, or maybe he's a freshman? Yeah. Like he's really good. So I look for Jefferson to play in the slot, to try to get the Browns to move out of what they want to do. And I look for Detroit's game plan last week was to go right at Greg Newsome, and Jamison Williams just refused to catch the ball. I think Minnesota's going to go right at Greg Newsome with Jordan Addison.
Is this a game? I get that, you know.
Why are you laughing, Tyvis? It's true. He refused to catch the ball.
That was a good.
He could have had a 200-yard game.
They believe in playmakers.
You want to know what's sad? You want to know what's sad, Zach? I got J-Mo on my fantasy team, but I was so mad that he was.
I do too. I'm like, this dude is tripping.
Yeah.
This dude is wild.
That could have been a 200-yard game.
Yeah, it could have been. You're right.
Is this a game now? You got the Carson Wentz. Like, did the Browns really I would think that the Browns defensively say this is a game that if we can prop our guy up, I know it's a rookie, but we can get something from Carson Wentz. We can get something.
Yeah, Garrett, you know how the Browns don't like to say anything about anything? Just 5 minutes before I came out here, Jim Schwartz was on the podium, and he said Carson Wentz will fumble. He's fumbled in his career. They're going to do it. And Minnesota's going to have at least 2 backup offensive linemen. So that's how the Browns win the game. The defensive line, a turnover, a defensive touchdown, right? Constant pressure. Make Carson Wentz win it. It's like keep Dillon Gabriel from having to win it, but make Carson Wentz win it. And certainly I think that goes hand in hand with your defensive line wins it. So Schwartz always calls him the engine. We know Malik Collins has been playing great. We know who Miles is. Last summer, the Vikings came in and did those joint practices, and we could talk a lot about what really went on there. But one of the things is Christian Darrisaw held Miles so bad he ripped his jersey right off him. They had to go get a new jersey for Miles because he was holding him so much. That it was joint practice. Who cares about 10 yards on Sunday? Those will be penalties.
Zac, I know obviously it might change because maybe you get a boost from the rookie. But did you get it? Do you have any sense at this point of the defense being like what's their level of frustration with how bad the offense has been?
Yeah, I think there's an obvious level of frustration, Bull, but I don't think anybody's ever quit in September. I don't know if there's ever been mutiny in September, even by Brown standards, right? So, look, if the defense would have gone out and delivered another A-plus game last week, maybe. But I think the defense got humbled a little bit. It wasn't a bad game, but it wasn't dominant by any means, right? It was the first time that the guys weren't consistently back there. I mean, they did get a turnover in the second half, and not much really to show for it. So I think the defense has its hands full with the way they'll move Jefferson around and use Addison. I think the defense should see opportunity because there's going to be at least one offensive lineman for Minnesota who hasn't played at all. And then, the defense, if it really wants to be that unit, it can go prove it this week and prove it next week. And what are huge games for the Browns? After that, then maybe we can talk about it. But I don't think that's an issue right now.
Zach, was you in the locker room when Shadeur mouthed his answers?
I was already over here, so I was not there. But I was here. I was listening to Tom Hamilton on the radio, and I was looking at my phone, wondering what in the world is going on back in Brea.
Would you have kept asking questions? Because that's what we were
I
trying
would
to
have.
figure
Yes,
out. You would have.
I would have. Yes, I would have. I would have continued to ask. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was answering. It's just it wasn't everybody. If you didn't know, couldn't read lips, and you couldn't get the answer. So I would have kept asking. Yeah.
This closed caption for hearing impaired. Like that's wild work, bro.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Listen, we should never stop the one line king. Thoughts?
No, I would just tell you this: the Cleveland Browns have signed up for this. All of this. So
100%.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, they deserve all the backlash that they get. There's no doubt about it. Zach, thanks, man. We appreciate it. Have a good time out there. We'll talk to you.
I got one more for Zach.
Oh, you got one more? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Zach, Mike Hall is not expected to play. He did not make the trip to London.
Yeah.
They could have put him on IR if they thought he was going to miss a 5th game because obviously that would have put him out for the first 4. But is there a reason he's progressing slower than I think a lot of us anticipated?
No, I mean, I don't think that that's the case. They chose not to put him on IR because they needed him on the practice field in order to get him back. And I understand that takes up a roster spot, but look, we're not keeping all pros off this roster, right?
Yeah.
This was part of the deal. So Mike Hall got hurt on January 5th or whenever that last game was last year. And in order for Mike Hall to play by October 20th or so this year, they needed him in practice 2 days a week. So of all the things it does come off as strange. But I don't think they ever thought Mike Hall was playing in September, and I think this was always part of the plan. So I agree, but and this is where it comes into where when they refuse to answer anything and they're so bad at messaging, as bad as they are at blocking and picking wide receivers and all that, it becomes weird. But this is the choice that they made for Mike Hall, and they think that Mike Hall will be playing, close to the bye week.
Thanks, Zach.
And I got one more for Zach. Zach, I'm going to ask you if you can get this question. You can answer it correctly. I'll Venmo you $5. If not, I will text you on the side because I'm going to ask these guys tomorrow on the show.
Yeah.
You have to promise me not to look this up, Bull and G.
Okay, I won't look it up.
Dillon Gabriel will become the shortest left-handed starting quarterback since who when he makes his NFL debut as a starting quarterback on Sunday?
Mark Brunell.
Shortest lefty since who? It's not Mark Brunell.
Steve Young.
Tyvis, I know. Because you're not on tomorrow.
Is it Tua?
It is not Tua, no.
Is Tua left-handed?
Yeah. Yes.
Tua yes.
Can I guess?
Jim Zorn, maybe.
Can I guess?
G, you're on tomorrow, so you can't guess.
I just guessed and I shouldn't have.
Yeah, we're gonna do this tomorrow.
That's a random question, Mike. How would somebody know that?
Do we know
it was on Get Up this morning. It was their.
Who watches Get Up?
I saw it when I was in the gym. It was their sneaky fact of the day.
Is this a guy that we would know?
I'm not going to tell you because I'll text you the answer and you could decide.
Zach, thanks, Zach.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you later, Zach from England. There. By the way, I honestly, outside of games, I don't think I've put on. Couldn't tell you besides for a game the last time I watched ESPN.
I'm like that as well, actually.
I used to watch. That was I had it on all the time.
I don't listen, dude. All I watch is YouTube.
Yeah, I watch my shows.
No, I ain't watching no shows.
I watch shows.
I'm watching
shows.
I got some shows. Yeah, you're right.
Dude, you guys got to watch Black Rabbit on Netflix.
Is it good?
Black Rabbit? Check it out. Do you have the thing on YouTube where you skip ads? Like where you don't play ads? I was watching the show the
Premium?
I was watching the show the other day, and it every 10 minutes,
I can't deal with
you gotta
ads.
keep skipping ads. I'm like, this is annoying.
Yeah.
See, I'm a YouTuber, and I like to patronize the community. I don't want to skip.
We need people to have ads for us.
I want people to I watch the ads. It's all good.
Go ahead, Mike. What's up?
We got a bunch of super chats,
and I got to read my Mike Polk
and you got the
text.
Polk text we're due after super chats, so we got to make sure we get these super chats in. So let's do that. We'll hear your Mike Polk text, and we'll talk Guardians till the end of the show. And we do have overtime today because the game's not at 1 o'clock. First super chat comes from Salvatore, the 216, who says, Shadeur should have acted normally, but is this a locker room joke that's so bad? He's a stand-up athlete. Doesn't he deserve the benefit of the doubt that he showed Dillon respect off camera? Cleveland is overreacting, is inconsistent. Was Shadeur disrespectful up to now?
Okay.
The Hot Saucers is Daniel Caruso, so I guess that's who the Hot Saucers is, who says, I'm the Karate Kid Bull, and it was $788, won off $30 in bets over the last 2 days.
Good for him. He's hot.
On the hot street.
$788 off of $30.
Hey, man.
Good wins.
I haven't watched that new Karate Kid movie. It's on Netflix now. I got to watch it.
Do you tell
Legends?
I always wonder. Did you tell your significant other you got that stimulus package?
Nah, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
No.
The Hot Saucers also says, I'm not sure what was more entertaining, watching the Packers post-game show after we beat them or watching the Tigers post-game show after leaving 15 guys stranded on base yesterday. The opposing team coverage after we beat them is the best.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those, but it's a big thing now to watch like podcasts of the opposing team when they lose. The guys lose their minds.
We've been doing that.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'll be all in
We're
there.
the OGs in that field.
Yeah, I'm like, let me see what y'all talk about, Baltimore.
That's funny. Yeah,
Dominic Jones says, I read that Shadeur spoke in decibels for dogs only. Derek Waldmiller says, gee, does Dillon Gabriel have an Intel or an AMD processing chip?
Hey man, he got the
That's funny.
he got the Ryzen joint. He got and he got the color card. That's crazy.
James Mace Jr. says it was not a good look for Shadeur. Dragon the Abandoner says Dillon loaded Lux Gabriel.
Loaded
whoa.
I don't even know what that means.
You can't listen. Hey, you cannot call him beloved under no circumstances.
What is this a reference to?
Battle rap.
I know nothing.
Dang, boy, we got to put you on the battle rap.
I used to know all the rap groups when I was a kid. Now I don't know anything.
Well, battle rap is like its own separate thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's like from 8 Mile.
Like that type of
stuff.
Style, yeah.
We don't even know. We don't even do that.
Eminem is unacceptable?
No, that's not real.
No, but like battle rapping, what they did at the end, like that. But it's way more intense.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
They take it a little too far.
Yeah.
Chiller Whale says, Tyvis, can you explain why so many players go through plays while not wearing their mouth guard? Is having teeth all of a sudden soft?
Nah, I mean, so you really don't need it. And
facts.
You really don't need the mouthpiece as much as you think you do. And sometimes it's a lot of communication that goes on. Like for me, I wore a mouthpiece pretty much my entire career. But when I play safety, like I'd be like, I don't need it because like I need to say everything. And if I got that one with the pacifier, you got to keep taking it out.
It's
and
annoying.
then talking and then trying to it's too much. So
football players don't wear cups, do they?
No,
you better not.
I don't know. I wasn't sure. They
don't wear jock straps either. My dad was like, you ain't got no jock strap.
Well, Dad's a baseball guy.
I said, man, we ain't doing none of that,
I wore
bro.
a jock strap.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild.
All right, go ahead.
Lift. You got the
Next up, Salvatore the 216 says, I love Sanders, but the hair is nasty work. Just go full braid. Some of you guys were thumbs down on 12 yesterday. It's all love from Euclid.
No,
yeah, I don't know why he got his hairline like.
Man, that's the B2K look, man. You gotta have your baby hairs out, dog. He had the Marions up there.
That's the B2K.
Right now, people are so confused. They're like, "What is he talking?"
They don't
about?
know who B2K is.
No, probably not.
Vernell Jackson says
R&B group.
Vernell Jackson says everyone's using Shadeur for content and clicks. Grown men using his name like women. It's weak. He should sue for defamation.
Defamation.
What's his name? Donald Trump.
Defamation is very difficult to prove, just like libel and slander is.
Hazy Eye Publishing says people say they don't like what 12 did, but if it were Jameis Winston, they would have loved it.
Facts.
That's true.
Yeah,
super facts.
True.
Yeah.
Dang, that was a great rebuttal. Listen, you need to join my G. Bush debate team. The barbershop is coming up with the first 5.
You got a debate team?
Yeah, man. We just rebuttal all kind of talking points.
I personally found some of Jameis annoying last year.
There were some that I liked and some I was
Yeah.
like,
I'm like,
I like
when
it.
he does the licking the fingers, that grosses me out. I think it's disgusting.
I agree.
I'm into I'm into
agree.
characters. I like characters.
It may be hypocritical, but when they're winning, it's fun, and when they're losing, I'm
Right.
I don't know if there's a place for this.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, next one. Miss Bell 70 says demeaning and slander of anyone is and should be unacceptable. It's pathetic that it's okay for Shadeur. Then it's what he should do, knowing that nobody would accept half of what he's been through. Not okay. The Goober 216 says Bedford sucks. Go Maple Height Mustangs.
Hey, man, you lost your mind. You lost your mind.
That is fight words right there.
It is. Catch me. I'm about to pull up on Libby. You gotta come see me.
Miss Bell says 5'11" in spikes. It's not short. It's just fun size.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that one. Yeah.
We got a little back and forth between super chatters. Dragon the Abandoner says Miss Bell says demeaning comments are bad, and then makes demeaning comments about Dillon. You gotta love Shadeur fans. And then Miss Bell responded saying, "Get your dictionary. Demeaning versus jokes." And then James B. Jr. says Eddie Lebanon with 3 question marks. I'm not quite sure what that means.
Eddie
Is that
Lebanon?
the short, the left hand? Is he a quarterback?
Oh, it's not Eddie Lebanon.
never heard of
I'll
Eddie
give you the
Lebanon.
answer tomorrow
Okay.
on UCSS in the 5-pack and McNuggets. Bull.
All right.
What did Mike Polk text you
So
yesterday?
earlier, it was actually it was a couple of days ago, but we just didn't have a chance to talk about it on the show. So here's the text I get from Mike, because Mike's the best. It's a long text, but I'm gonna read it to you. This was Monday morning at 9:30 from Mike Polk. So Mike is in our UCSS fantasy league.
Yeah, I think I just played him last week.
Okay, guys, here we go. This again from Mike Polk. Here is my case for your impeachment as fantasy commissioner. You schedule the draft for 2 p.m. on a weekday, a time at which some people have yet to complete their workday.
Yes.
Yahoo accommodates my absence by auto-drafting me a team featuring 2 trash quarterbacks and 2 tight ends who have the same bye week. Yahoo Fantasy then has the outright audacity to send me a scathing email informing me that I did a terrible job drafting my team and assigned me a D- for my auto draft efforts. You do this bull bleep psycho move again that allows 2 quarterbacks to start. This totally negates the original intended spirit of fantasy football, which challenged fans to create their own team using the same essential parameters that real GMs work with. You know, like those classic NFL matchups where they have 2 quarterbacks in the game at the same time, simultaneously operating the offense? But hey, why stop here? Next year you should set it up so we can start 3 quarterbacks every week. Think of all that scoring. And let's do 3 kickers as well, just for shits and giggles. I shouldn't have said that, but whatever. You then provide all teams with an extra roster spot that most fantasy leagues, I assume, in order to help accommodate the ridiculous dual quarterback arrangement. But all it has done, in effect, is to allow everyone to stash as many quarterbacks as they want without having to make any difficult roster decisions whatsoever, forcing me to rely on scrap heaping the likes of Russell Wilson each week whenever a real quarterback gets injured. The system works. In conclusion, I just think this might all just sound like petulant grousing from a 1-3 manager whose most productive player, Marcus Mariota. But let me assure you that if this is all just sounds like sour grapes on my end, that's exactly what it is. Hashtag impeach the bull.
You know what? I co-sign. Hashtag
impeach the
the
bull.
bull. For no reason.
I'm happy to let somebody else take over this fantasy. It would never happen without me. That was a funny.
That was a very damning statement.
Now here's the unfair part.
I always agreed about the super.
Here is the unfair part, and everybody can attest to this that was there. You two guys were not in this.
You did try to stop the.
I was the only one trying to stop the. I had lined up a good friend of mine who was a fantasy football expert. Like this guy's won tons of fantasy leagues. I had lined up a friend of mine to draft for Mike in his place. But because I'm not as experienced with Yahoo Fantasy as I am with CBS, which I use for most other things, I couldn't figure out how to add him to the team because it was already draft day and it wouldn't let me do it. And then even during the draft, I said, guys,
like 20 times.
Don't take all the quarterbacks. Leave some decent quarterbacks for him. And you guys all told me get bent. I was the only one trying to help Mike. The rest of you didn't give a rat's ass about him.
Facts.
That's true.
It's not
100%.
It's not our fault.
I know, but like,
and my team is still worse than his.
And Anthony's team is way worse than Mike's team.
And by the way, since this is a baseball panel, EP Steve did bring me out of the game as the baseball aficionado that I am. Xavier Curry is from Orangeburg, South Carolina, making him a regular black guy.
I don't know. I'd say American black guy, but regular black guy. I didn't realize that he was a regular black guy. I thought he was Latin. That's a good job out of you.
See, but this is what I don't like, though, about the league. This is where Polk got
regular black guys versus Latin black guys?
No, I'm talking about fantasy.
Yeah.
You said that you can't have no more than 3 quarterbacks.
Yes.
Jason got 4.
Well, he's not following the rules. There's no way. What does he have?
Get in there, Commissioner.
He got Dillon Gabriel and Aaron Rodgers on the bench. He got Tua and he got Bo Nix, 4 quarterbacks.
Hey, can we document games?
He's got to cut. You can only have more than 3 quarterbacks. If there's 2 for the same team.
I'm telling.
Like if you have 4 quarterbacks and 2 of them are Flacco and Gabriel, that's okay. You can't have more than 3 teams' quarterbacks. Jason's got to cut one of those. We'll see you on overtime.
We're previewing a little more than guards game. We'll see you in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I need to look before I hate